Five Rivers.
Hey, it was a little too soon, man. Y'all got a little sneak preview of our brand new old ass intro.
Exactly.
Oh man, that was all out of order, man. Y'all used to seeing the countdown, then y'all see the intro. That's how it really go, man. You know what I mean? We got to go in order.
Always.
But
Always.
in other news, Stephen A. Smith is about to box LeBron James in a 6-round.
Exactly. 6-round death match.
Bro, I was in tears, bro. LeBron posted Stephen A. boxing.
Yeah, boxing with the womp womp. I'm like,
oh man, that was hilarious, man.
Wild.
Don't forget to clock in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Here we go.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the Five Rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We are back for another edition of Around the Shield, man, and we have a special guest, man. Y'all asked for it. We got Dante from East Coast Gridiron in the building.
What's happening, guys?
What's going on, man? Hey, man, we got a lot to talk about. I already know you've been breaking down prospects left and right, man. It's the off season. at its finest. The pre-draft process. We're gonna get into that. But before we do, man, we gotta salute the night crew in the building, man. We got my 2 cents in the building pulling up, Raider Way in the building. Man, we got everybody pulling up. PNW Mark Raiders has a friendly reminder. He says, "Good evening, all. Clock in and subscribe and hit that bell, man." Hey, I couldn't say it better myself, man. Appreciate you coming through and supporting the chat, holding it down. Chill Ray, what up, Raider Nation? It just comes through and just want to salute. So what's going on? We got L11, man. We got a lot to talk about today, man. I know Dante, I think Dante is here. He's here because y'all was talking trash in the chat. Y'all was talking about T-Mac. Do we have some clips of T-Mac today?
We do.
Woo, man.
Yes,
we got
sir.
some stuff lined up, man. Woo.
Hey, man, I think I
something.
got like 7 pages or something like that, Severe. I know you were watching.
Oh yeah.
I pretty much told
That was
everybody
before I
that
was the target of your ire, though. I was then you tried to bust me out on Genty, and then I started watching.
Yeah, it was about 7 or 8 pages full of I think it's like all the catches that I could put together on all the film. I think it was like 9 games I watched, and I put it all together on X just in case people out there aren't believers of T-Mac. But yeah, it'll dispel all the rumors that you've been hearing. So,
Hey, coach, right now, he's throwing shots already, man. He says Dante will be the voice of reason. He knows we need to build the trenches and stop all this QB, wide receiver, running back talk. But guess what? We're going to force him to talk about the wide receivers.
Exactly.
We're
talking skill positions.
hey, it's not my show. It's not my show. I am here as a guest.
But the night crew, everybody in the chat, man, everybody that supports the show. Like, if you guys got a question, obviously we got Dante in the building. So if you guys want to ask, I'm sure Dante has no problem asking, and he'll let us know, man, what he feels like the Raiders should do at number 6. Shout out to Myra. She's pulling up. She says, "Hey, it's my birthday tomorrow. Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday. Appreciate you coming through." Yeah,
25, 26. 25, 26, Myra. What's up?
Assassin's Creed says, "Salute ECG, man. Severe Friday, man. Appreciate you pulling up, man. We got something. We got a fire show lined up. But let's not waste time, man. We salute everybody that's pulling up. If you haven't already, make sure to click it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Let's just get into it. Right now, it's pretty dry. It's Sahara Desert dry. It's nothing really going on as far as moves. But there are possibly some receivers left in the market. The Raiders, obviously, early on in the free agency process, they did try to talk to Cooper Kupp a little bit. They try to, I think they're connected to Stephon Diggs for a little bit, and obviously he went to the Patriots. Now, what does that leave the Raiders? Well, there's a former Raider. I don't know how Raider Nation feels about this, but Amari Cooper is available. We got Elijah Moore. We have Keenan Allen. And I think the other guy that's been connected to the Raiders has former Seattle wide receiver, and obviously he played under Pete Carroll, Tyler Lockett. Now, out of all those receivers, I know it's not the sexiest list. Who would you say would be a good fit, or at least a solid signing on a cheap deal at this point in free agency?
I think, yeah, and I've been watching I like to watch a lot of interviews of players that have actually departed their last team, because it gives you a little bit more perspective on their teammates. And DK Metcalf, for example, had nothing but great things to say about Tyler Lockett. And then I tried to look up some stuff and some tweets that Jackson Smith and Jigba's actually said about Tyler Lockett as well. Then you go into the Russell Wilsons and the Marshawn Lynch's of the world, and what you hear from all these, even Bobby Wagner, what you hear from a lot of people is how good of a teammate Tyler Lockett is. And at this point in time, he might not affect your locker room in a way that he's going to put up a bunch of stats, But what's so interesting about and why I think he's the best fit for you guys, not only because of Pete Carroll, because he's going to be a positive aspect on your younger guys. Like to keep Jacoby Myers at that 1,000 to 1,200 yard receiver that you hope that you can get out of him. The Trey Tuckers of the world that are still trying to find his way, and that you can honestly kind of comp him to be. You know, Tyler Lockett was a down the field god, like that would catch anything that was thrown at him. You know, a lot of guys that need like that third down receiver, and even DK said this: whenever we needed a critical third down, you know where the ball went to. So, and I just think he would embody everything that you guys are trying to do. And if you were to bring in, let's say in the later rounds, like a Mecca Ibuka or something like that to kind of carry the torch from there, he's a great person to set you up for something like that. And you know, he falls within, you know, obviously Pete was his former coach, so he falls within any system that, you know, Chip Kelly would like to run too. When you need somebody to take it over the top, you got Tyler Lockett out there. Then of course you got Geno Smith, who just came up from over there too and used him as a security blanket. So to me, that one makes the most sense out of everything. And then I honestly think, you know, if you want to have a reunion of sorts, Amari Cooper's out there. Why not bring him back? See what he's still got left in the tank. And then if anybody was going to get a little bit of juice out of a guy like him, it's going to be Pete Carroll, right? To you know, get him up there and beyond the marker where everybody knows that he can be. So, but why not both? Amari Cooper and Tyler Lockett come to the Raiders would be cool, in my opinion, for you guys. It would really bolster up that wide receiver room, and I don't think that they're going to be that expensive for them both to come there and, you know, and help out Geno and get you guys to the next level. So, but short answer, Tyler Lockett all day. I'm there with it.
Wow. Okay. I mean, do you feel like he has something left in the tank? It sounds like a lot. Some of the things that you're saying is more off the field. His impact off the field would be big, but like, do you think he still has that? He could still be like a speed or deep threat in the Raiders offense, because that's actually what the Raiders offense is lacking on the outside. Like, because you got Jacoby Myers, you got Brock Bowers, but then we don't have that. You could say Trey Tucker, but then do we really want to put all our eggs in one basket with Trey Tucker? It's kind of dangerous to do that. You know what I mean? A small receiver like him. I mean, Tyler Lockett is not a big receiver, but he's proven. But does he still have anything left in the tank as far as speed?
When you're looking at the best available receivers, they're around 30 to 32 years old, and that's where he falls into, is at that 32-year-old mark. So, you know, if you look at it from that aspect, and then, you know, look at what the Seahawks did over the last couple of years. They brought in the Jackson Smith and Jigba, who was the best slot receiver in the NFL by far, statistics-wise. Like, he just was. And so you get a Jake Bobo to also come in there from the UCLA side.
Jake Bobo.
I love Jake Bobo, and I'm so excited for that kid to get his shot with Seattle, and I think he's going to be a big, like, he's going to have that Puka Nacua, like, kind of rise that I think you're going to see if they get the right quarterback in there, which, I mean, they got Sam Darnold, you know, to be that guy, and I think he might utilize him a little bit more than what Geno did, but obviously with Tyler leaving too, he had kind of a filled-in spot at that number 2 or number 3 spot. But when you consider all the youth that they had there, along with DK Metcalf, it's kind of like what we talked about before with a couple of the other, you know, wide receivers around the league, like with the Keenan Allens of the world and all those guys. He just got buried in the depth chart. I mean, just call it what it is. He wasn't the healthiest these last couple of years, and you get buried by the younger guys that were able to step up to the plate. This is what it is, right? So with that being said, I think he still has a ton of life in the tank. And you know, a lot of guys get rejuvenated once they're on the move, right? You're rejuvenating him by matching him up with Pete Carroll, and you get him a familiar face in what he's used to with Geno, and Geno's going to utilize him because that's what he calls home. You know, he doesn't know Jacoby and Trey yet, and even Brock Bowers. He doesn't know all these guys yet, but the one guy that he does know is Tyler Lockett. So you give him a little bit of an advantage in that aspect. So I definitely, every time we've counted out Tyler Lockett over the years, where does he always end up? on everybody's radar as a top 20 wide receiver when he's balling out. He's had 1,000 yards like almost every damn season of his career. Like, let's think about that too. Like, he's known to put 1K up on you, secretly under the radar. And then you look at it and you're like, damn, Tyler Lockett had 1,000 yards this year and like 7 or 8 touchdowns. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's who he is,
Yeah. I mean, Severe, what are you thinking? Are you going with Lockett as well, or is there anybody? Do you feel like should we pass on all of them? You know what I mean? Like, should we just like wait till the draft? But I just feel like we have too many needs to not address wide receiver at free agency.
Yeah, I can see a Lockett move, but Lockett is like, honestly, Lockett's not a guy I would want to see play a lot. To be honest with you, I'd rather a guy that has, he's a savvy dude, but I think we have a savvy guy, possession receiver, a guy who I think, I'd rather go to Jacoby Myers in the third down situation, big body, and a guy that, who's all game, been doing all the grunt work, whether it's coming down, chipping D ends, blocking in the run game, doing all that stuff. I'd rather reward a guy like that on third down because we know what he brings play in and play out. And also he's a little bit of a bigger body. He's been in the organization a few years now. I'd rather go young. If we're gonna go for a wide receiver, I want to go young. I want a guy that, hey, he can still, Tyler Lockett, he may have 2-3 years left. I want a guy that has, at least 5-6 years left, right? And that doesn't necessarily match up. Maybe not with the Pete Carroll timeline, but it could potentially match up with, hey, Geno Smith. He's 34. Geno Smith probably has 4 or 5 years left himself, right? Let those guys grow together. I'm good on Amari. That experiment. We had that experiment early in his career. He's a guy that, he left us, went to the Cowboys, and left the Cowboys, went to the Browns, and left the Browns, went to the Bills, and people were thinking, hey, you know what? The Bills, they have a dearth of weapons out there. Amari Cooper is going to step right in, and he's going to, people were saying that Amari Cooper was going to be a bigger acquisition when he was traded than Devontae Adams. That was the speculation. And, on a team that was struggling at wide receiver, whether that be the Browns or the Bills, like Amari Cooper was still nowhere to be found. So Khalil Shakir outplayed him by leaps and bounds, right? And so I'd rather go, if I'm going to go with a guy that, maybe didn't have a lot of production last year, I'm going to go with a young guy like Elijah Moore and see if, Pete Carroll can get him in the system and get some production out of him. At least then you have some runway going forward where, hey, you know what? Now we got this guy. We can do something with him. Where if you bring in a Lockett and he's good for this year, then, we don't know if it'll be next year or the year after that because he's already kind of long in the tooth.
Let me give you a sneaky one. I think Tyler Boyd as well. Did people just forget available. That, like, he was part of that trio and the Bengals that was super productive? And when T. Higgins was hurt, Tyler Boyd was stepping up to the plate big time. So, like, when is the discussion of, like, where did Tyler Boyd just fall off into the void? Is it because he played with the Titans and they weren't anything and you're just a product of your environment at that point in time? And I think that's very unfair for us to, like, look at him in that light when we know that he could be so productive. So, like, I didn't know that he was part of this list. I thought he was on a 2-year deal with the Titans, but he's available and he's out there for somebody to grab and would make them very, very happy, as well. So I think he's an interesting name.
Yeah. People know my feelings of Tyler Boyd and why I would never pay Tyler Boyd a cent, not a single red cent. And it's because of that drop in the Super Bowl. When you're in your most crucial moment, it's on third down. Your quarterback delivers a great ball. You run a good route. You're wide open. Your quarterback delivers a great ball. They need you to come through, and you drop the ball. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, you don't want to put a whole guy's career based on that one moment. But those kind of things stick with you. Like that one kid that got. I still don't. I don't know if you ever played in the league again. But remember the kid that against, I think it was it for the Green Bay Packers, who didn't recover the onside kick versus, I think it was versus Seattle. I don't know. They know he got cut that offseason. I don't know if he's ever been back in the league. So like sometimes the plays you make or the plays you don't make in those big moments are kind of what define you as a player. And like I say, that memories, because I hate the Rams so much, that memory is seared into my mind.
All right. Well, here's my take on it. I think I can understand a Tyler Lockett, just maybe Pete Carroll wants to add one of his guys in a locker room. I get that. But he is kind of trending in the wrong direction production-wise. Like every season since he's had 1,000 yards, it's just been downhill. I think like last season he was at 600 yards receiving. If they want some production on the outside, they don't really have to have a guy really productive on the outside just because we have a Brock Bowers, we have a Jacoby Myers. We can draft a guy and then I get that, but I feel like, hey man, I might be into the Amari Cooper reunion just because even though he was like, well, how many times was he traded last season? He went from the Browns, he went to the Bills. He had, if you look at his numbers, he had almost 1,000 yards compared to everybody that is available. I mean, Keenan Allen, I thought remember we were talking about it earlier. We're like, man, Keenan Allen was hurt, but he just missed 2 games. He played 15 games, started 15 games, and he barely scratched 600 yards receiving. Now you could talk about maybe the situation at quarterback. Caleb Williams, rookie, still trying to figure out his way in the NFL. They fired their offense coordinator. You could talk about that, but Amari Cooper, I think he can give you a little bit. I think he has. I think what is he? How old is he? He's about. He's
30.
Like early 30s.
Maybe 31. I think 31 by the time the season starts.
Severe. You talked about how you talked about how Chip Kelly likes route runners. I think Amari Cooper could fit in that outside receiver role. Another guy, I do agree with Elijah Moore, but if you bring in a guy like Elijah Moore, he's kind of similar in size and he plays in that slot position that Trey Tucker does. So when you bring him in the building, are you kind of saying that Tucker's days are numbered possibly? You know what I mean? But Pete Carroll believes in competition everywhere. Yeah. So maybe you bring in Amari Cooper, maybe you bring in Elijah Moore, but I feel like Amari Cooper, just based off a production standpoint, he's still kind of giving you that, especially on the outside. And then like if the draft comes, it doesn't stop them from taking a receiver, but they're not forced to, especially if there's another player that they didn't expect to be there that drops early, like a Mason Graham or you fill in the blank player, and the Raiders can easily pick up. So I think Amari Cooper kind of would fit perfectly, but I know the Raider fans are like, nah, man, he just was a little too happy when he went to Dallas. But technically, it's not like he requested a trade. It wasn't a Devontae Adams situation where he's going on a weekly appearance on the show podcast and in lying to the world saying that I don't know anything about the trade talk, but everything was coming from his agent and everything. You know what I mean? It's just Devontae. It was.
Does everybody expect like when they get traded for them to sit there unhappy about what happened? I mean,
right.
Like what are we doing here? Like,
yeah.
Can't hold that against them, man.
Yeah. I don't hold that against Amari Cooper. I just think he had. If he was almost at 1,000 yards, bro, he must have stole like 300 yards from somebody because I don't remember him,
bro.
Being,
but I will say this though. I get you. I get what you're saying, Dante. But it's like, and Severe knows what I'm talking about. It's almost like he never smiled with the Raiders. On the sideline, he just had he had the Tim Duncan face. If anybody knows Tim Duncan, he just very like stone cold look, like no emotion. And then he gets to Dallas and he's just like, oh my, like he was just celebrating and just, I was like, damn, I never seen that with you in the, like I didn't never seen that. That's the only thing.
This man didn't crack a smile when he was drafted. He didn't crack a smile when he was drafted. He did. He turned to his mom and did the most robotic hug I've ever seen in my life. Like it was like an android. It was like it was like a robot. until he got to Dallas, and then he was all smiles. And but yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't care about that, bro. Like, look, as long as you play, you can be a cyborg. I don't care, but I just don't think he had a good enough year last year. And much like Tyler Lockett, he's trending in the wrong direction. And on a team that was desperate for wide receiver help, he really wasn't much of an impact guy. I don't even know how many. I don't even remember how many yards he even had with the Bills last year, or with the Browns. It seemed like Jerry Jeudy had a resurgence, and Amari Cooper kind of went in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and when we're talking about these veteran receivers, I don't think it's going to stop the Raiders from taking a receiver. I'm not saying don't draft young receiver. It's just, you kind of give the Raiders have a little bit of flexibility to go with someone early instead of like forcing a pick early on a receiver. I think going with a veteran, it could be Tyler Lockett, it could be an Amari Cooper. I know some people might be against it. I like it. Elijah Moore, I don't know if he would he start on the outside though, Severe? Would he be I think he would probably be a slot though, right?
Which is if we draft a guy who I'm looking at as drafting, that's good with me. That's good with me. If we draft a wide receiver I want us to draft, hey, I'm good with that. I'm good with that because this guy can play outside and inside. So, I'm A-okay.
Oh man, I guess that's a perfect segue, man. That's a perfect segue. Because obviously we got Dante from East Coast Gridiron in the building, so I know he's ready to break down some film. He has some clips of some prospects the Raiders could possibly consider at number 6, maybe trade down. And I think it was about a couple weeks ago on the 50-50 show, T-Mac was the top of discussion. His name came up, and some people were like, well, he can't separate. I don't know, he's a little too slow, and yada da da da. And ECG was in the comments like, wait, man, I got no.
Yeah.
And, we were like, you know what, we got to get Dante in the show, man. He has to break it down. So we're gonna, if you want to pull it up.
Yeah,
and,
I know been a lot of talk. It's been a lot of talk for a long time in Raider Nation about Ashton Jeanty, and the word around Ashton Jeanty that gets thrown around a lot is that he is generational. And I believe you said in the chat there is only one generational player in this draft class, according to your evaluation. And who was that one generational player?
Tetairoa McMillan.
I think someone in the chat earlier said that they want to see you have a first take style debate with Steve Smith, because Steve Smith, he has his yearly breakdown of receivers, and he started that process. And I think he was saying
Steve Smith,
that.
I think about Stephen A. Smith.
And me?
Like, he was trying to box Stephen A. Smith. Was trying to box him.
Not Stephen A. Smith. Steve Smith.
He was trying to box him.
Former, Panther
Steve
receiver.
Smith, I usually agree with a lot of his evaluations. Like when a lot of people weren't high. Okay, and I get this guy is a freaking nutcase, and Jermaine Burton. But I was saying, if Jermaine Burton plays up to his standards, I think that he could be better than Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. That was just me. And Steve Smith in his evaluation said borderline the same exact thing as me. And I was like, wow, okay, well, that was validation. But I mean, a lot of things that Steve sees on film from T-Mac, I don't see. One of the things that he said was like, he leaves a lot of stuff on the table. I'm like, well, Noah Fafita took a freaking fall off when Jed Fish left, who was their head coach. And if they would have went to Washington, I think Noah Fafita would have been on the same level, and T-Mac would have definitely won the Biletnikoff Trophy last year as the best wide receiver in the country. But the quarterback play just wasn't there. They had no running game. They had no other option outside of T-Mac. So I don't understand what Steve Smith saw on film that made him think he left a lot on the table. But every single pass that was thrown T-Mac's way, he tried to come down or do something with it. A lot of the passes that were thrown in the dirt, quite frankly. And I am a Noah Fafita truther through and through. But last year, he was ass cheeks. I'm not even going front. He did. I was disappointed. I was like a disappointed father when I saw it, man. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even just that too.
Preseason too, so I was disappointed as well.
It wasn't even just that. Steve Smith threw some shots too. He was like, when the part of his game was talked about as far as being a guy that is a jump ball receiver, he was like, that's the only thing he could do.
Which is incorrect as well. Like only 15% of his passes were jump balls last year. So I don't know where that came from either. So I think Steve Smith is like, to his credit, well, not to his credit because it's horrible what he was alleged of doing, but I think a lot of the stuff that's been happening in the media has kind of got to his head too, which is kind of like ruining some of his evaluations. Maybe he's not going as deep as what he usually does this year. So I hope this year not against him so much, but like when you look at the numbers, it was only like 15 or 16% of his passes this year were jump balls. So I don't know where that came from either. That's a horrible narrative to go off of, and it's just like, again, it's like I was telling you guys, there's a lot of content creators out there where you will say, did you watch the film? Yeah, I watched the film. Okay, which games did you watch? I forgot. Okay, well, you could pull up your notes and tell me you just didn't watch it. And I think this is the same thing with Steve Smith this year, is like, you didn't really watch T-Mac. That just is what it is, bro. And it's okay, but I'm not an NFL wide receiver or NFL caliber player, but I can tell a lie because I watched every single game that I could of T-Mac, and I looked at the stats, and they don't match up to what you're saying. So what are we doing, brother?
Yeah. And you know, Pharaoh kind of touched on this last year too, because last year my number one receiver was Malik Neighbors, right? But everybody was saying, you know, clearly Marvin Harrison could be the best player in the draft. So if you say another receiver is better than him, well, that's, you know, hey, that's going to garner some attention. That's going to create a buzz and generate some interest, right? So, but last year it just happened to be true. Hey, you say Malik Neighbors is one. Well, that was factual. He was one. But that still creates that buzz because it's kind of going against popular opinion, against the consensus of everybody saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. is the guy. Well, this year, you know, everybody's saying Ted Rowe is the guy. And in my opinion, he is the guy. But now if you put another guy above him, you still are doing that same thing. You're fishing for that attention. You're fishing for clicks. You know, you want to create that controversy. But this year, in my opinion, I think he got it wrong.
1,000% agree with you there. That's a great point.
So there's been some talk that says that some people think that possibly T-Mac can drop in the draft. He can possibly drop. Do you think fit matters with him, or do you think it doesn't matter? Like if you have an even wide receiver, you take him, or like for example, like I mentioned earlier, the Raiders need speed on the outside. I feel like it would complement the players that they already have on offense. You know, that's not necessarily T-Mac's game, but does that even matter? Like you go if T-Mac is on the board, you take that guy because he is the best. I know you highly value T-Mac, but for in the Raiders situation, do you take a guy like T-Mac no matter what?
I mean, I look at it like this. If the Titans draft T-Mac, that's a loss. If the Browns draft T-Mac, that's a loss. If New York drafts T-Mac, that's a loss. If the Patriots drafted T-Mac, that's a win. Jaguars, a win. Raiders, a win. Like, it really depends on where he goes to. And I honestly think the people that are really deficient without a number one receiver, or at least it's in question, you can't miss out on not drafting him. Like, I think he's that important. Like, you know, I understand, and I had Brock Bowers as my number one guy, and I knew he would do everything he did last year. And I told you guys before, I don't buy rookie jerseys, and I'm known to be the jersey dude. I went to Allegiant Stadium when I was in Vegas, and I went and got a custom Brock Bowers jersey because I believe so much in that kid. So if that tells you something about my evaluations, I knew he was going to be that guy.
He said preseason. He said preseason is going to be Hall of Fame. He said preseason. I remember that. because I laughed. But you were right though. You're right though. So, hey, I gotta give you credit. I gotta give you credit because you caught it.
Now, literally, bro, my wife was like, "You just wake up in the morning and watch a Brock Bowers film, don't you?" Like, she even knew. She's like, "I'm tired of hearing this guy's name." Like, that's how much I believed in that dude. He had the cleanest film that I've ever seen out of a player in like the last 5 years. And T-Mac, I feel like, is not as clean as Brock as far as when it comes to the film, because you have to understand the deficiencies that are there. But when the ball was in his vicinity, one thing that I evaluate from 0 to 100, how much effort did you give to make a play? And I feel like he's at 110% when he's able to. And so with that being said, that's what separates the good players from the great players is I think he can be that type of guy. And if you're questioning your number one receiver, you draft him and he's generational. And when he ran a 4.4, I was like, how can you say he's not a generational talent? The dude's like 6'5" and running that fast. I mean, it's insanely scary. Mike, a lot of people comparing to Mike Evans. I've heard Kelvin Benjamin, which is
Kelvin.
I wanted to put a gun to my head when I heard that. I was like, who the hell is comparing those two? And I'm a Florida State guy. These guys are not even remotely in the same category
at all.
The only person that you can compare him with a little bit is Drake London, but I really think that he's a unicorn in all the stuff that he does. Like, Drake London is not playing the damn slot. Let's be honest here. But T-Mac will run across the middle and catch a pass and take it for 60 yards down the field and make guys miss. Like, he's athletically gifted. So going back to my Brock Bowers point, I thought it was a bad pick for you guys, regardless of how good he was, right? Because I didn't think you needed another tight end. And your record showed that we needed a lot more than a Brock Bowers on our team last year.
Quarterback.
With this, it's like T-Mac can help the Patriots with the Drake May immediately get to the next level of offense. And if it's him or if it's Ashton Genty, I think they're both equally as important for the Patriots. Like, I just think those two guys are can't miss for any team that does need those positions. They help you get to the next level. So I think that's what I'll say about T-Mac is he's a next level kind of guy that gets you where you need to go. And if you miss out, nobody's going to sit here and cry about it. You're going to be like, well, he just didn't show up, right? And it's okay. But at least you could say your team tried to find the next generational guy. So,
yeah. Well, speaking of Genty, like, is that someone that the Raiders should consider at number 6? Because I think everybody's trying to connect the dot with Genty. Like, Genty recently had his pro day. People were like, oh, Spytech was talking to the head coach of Boise State, and the Raiders were definitely in the building, and yada yada yada. All these mocks have had the Raiders pick Genty at 6. Even a guy like Bucky Brooks, who works for the Raiders, he has him Genty going to the Raiders at number 6. Do you think it's smoke, or do you think that is actually a player that the Raiders should definitely consider at number 6?
You're not gonna like my answer on this. I don't think he fits Chip Kelly's offense as much as everybody thinks he does. I think Ashton Genty, and what me and Severe were going back and forth with this, and we both agreed, if you're gonna use Ashton Genty, you have to give him 90% of the carries. He's not good when he splits with anybody. He's a workhorse type guy. And everybody's going to hate that, oh, you put a bunch of miles on him at Boise State. I've seen Ashton Genty in games in the third quarter get blown up, catching the pass, and him on the ground, like holding the stomach, like, oh, I got cracked. Gets back up and then runs the ball for 40 yards down the field. I've seen it. It's on film. The dude's a tough guy, but to line him up on screen passes and have him doing all this other extracurricular shit is not going to be what the Raiders, what Chip Kelly's going to need. If you're going to do that, then you go on a Marion Hampton. You go somebody else that's able to do that. By Shaw Tutton from Virginia Tech. I'm high on that kid because I think he's so universal. But you know how I feel about Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson fits that better. But
Yeah.
I don't think Ashton Genty is the right move for the Raiders. And if they pull the trigger on him, you better have changed your scheme up, Chip Kelly, and you better run that kid 90% of the time. Because the amount of people that thought Zeus was going to be that guy last year for you, and I just sit back and laugh. Like, I don't care how much he's been in the weight room. That doesn't make you a great running back at the end of the day, brother. I'm sorry to tell you. But I think I don't want to say he's wasting talent if you do get him at the 6th round pick. I would look at it just like I looked at Brock Bowers, like, damn, great player, but just not right for you guys, right? And that's how I would look at it. And if he ends up working out and you guys have another down season, it's a great thing for you because you could say, we got our running back, we got our tight end, and we hit on both of those things, but it didn't move the needle as far as our full team productive on offense. You go and get Tedero McMillan. I think that's what you guys need. I think Geno needs it. I think this offense needs it. And if you don't go him, then you go and choose an edge rusher at this time and line him up opposite side of Max. I don't think Michael Kuntz is going, like, there's too many generational edge rushers in this class to say that these two guys are going to be our future. There's a rotational piece in college and the NFL, and they usually have 4 edge rushers that come in and out. So go get you a generational guy and make Max happy. I mean, I think that's what you need. We value edge rushers as far as positional value as much as we look at quarterbacks nowadays, right? I mean, it's just a fact.
Yeah, man. You know what? Going back to what you were talking about with Brock Bowers and how you felt like great talent, but just the wrong situation. But now the Raiders have a Geno Smith in the building, and who has obviously had a career resurgence with the Seattle Seahawks and under Pete Carroll. He's looked like a completely different quarterback than he was with New York Jets. Now he's with the Raiders, and you give him the best tight end in football. Can we say that? Can we say he's the best tight end in football? Like, just based off. I mean, I know it's 1 year, but man, like, I'm sorry. You come in and do that. You come in and do that with our quarterback room.
I still have Kittle. I still have Kittle, but I got Brock Bowers too. I still got Kittle.
Severe. I 1,050% agree with you. Kittle is the best tight end when healthy, right? That's always the asterisk. He does everything better than when you look at, if you had to mold a tight end, it's George Kittle year after year after year. The only man that threatened Travis Kelce, like, he would be the best tight end by far over Travis Kelce if he had as much success in the Super Bowls and if he was as healthy as Kelce was. Let's be honest here. And a lot of people just want to like skip past that fact, but it is a cold hard fact, because in the NFL, the greats get measured at tight end for blocking and catching. That's why we have Gronk so highly on a lot of our list, is because Gronk would block his ass off and he would catch his ass off as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was both. I think Brock Bowers is definitely number 2 though, and I don't think it's close between him or Kittle, and it falls off from there. Like, Sam Laporta fell off a bridge, TJ Hawkinson has fell off a bridge. I mean, who else are you going to throw up there? What the guy from Arizona? Forget that kid's name.
What's the name?
See, but you guys are overlooking one part, and it's huge. He's never healthy. He's never healthy. Just look at like the last like 3, 4, 5 seasons. Like, we could just look at how many games has he played. Now, when he's healthy, yeah, you guys are making a case that obviously he can block, he can receive, he has that yak ability. I get it. You know what I mean? And he's huge too. He's a 6'4", 6'5" at tight end. Like, no, I might be. I think 6.
Sarah, I wouldn't I don't have a much more argument other than the health thing to disagree with you.
Trey McBride is Arizona.
Yeah, Trey McBride. But like you were saying, if you want to put Brock Bowers as your number 1, I can it's like when we were talking about Travion Henderson being a top 5 running back in this class. I wouldn't argue with anybody if that's where you had him. I'm in agreement with you. But if you consider the health thing, then Brock Bowers is number 1. I just think those are the top 2 for sure. They're 1A and 1B to me.
it's crazy with Brock that he can get so much better. You know what I mean? You could talk about how he can improve as a blocker. You could talk like he can improve. Like it's just crazy to me that he was able to put that. Like I didn't know it was going to be that good. Like I think that's why I'm kind of like, you know what? I am all aboard on Brock Bowers' train as far as like, to me, he's the best tight end just because like you do that with Gardner Minshew back there with AOC, with the way they were playing in that offense. You might be like, oh, Minshew's not that bad or AOC's not that bad. But in that Raiders offense, what they did, they weren't productive. But guess who they can trust to be open every single time? Like he broke literally every tight end rookie record that there was last season, or rookie record. I think he broke the overall catch record for a rookie.
Oh, he broke like 7 records last year in his first year, and he's definitely a beast. And I agree with everything that you said, man. And that is a great point to bring up the quarterback situation. Because of the fact that we always give excuses to every other position for having bad weapons around them and not performing. Marvin Harrison Jr., why did he perform so bad last year compared to Malik? Malik Neighbors doesn't get that excuse because he balled out. And he had this almost the same exact situation as Brock Bowers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that is a great point to bring up. And it is true. We always give excuses for everybody else, but you can't. Brock Bowers did not make an excuse for himself. He was the best in and out of every single game. And I saw it in college, man. And Severe, you probably remember this. That dude, Brock Bowers, tore his ankle up like on week 4 of the season. Yeah. And they were like, he's going to be out for the rest of the season. He's got to have surgery. The dude had surgery and came back 3 weeks later. And I remember that game, they announced like an active. And I was like, what is he doing back?
Yeah.
I said, this dude is a transformer, man. I mean, he's Optimus Prime. Like it's crazy. Yeah, he's different. He's just way different.
No.
Yeah, it's just I was just amazed that he was able to transcend everything that was going on with the Raiders. They fired their offensive coordinator. The offensive line struggled like literally the first portion of the season, first half of the season. It got better a little bit. There was no run game. Worst run game in the NFL, arguably. Like we went through all types of running backs. Like it was so many things going against the Raiders offense, and he was like that bright spot that was consistent, that was easily the number one guy out there. So that's why I'm like looking at like, man, Geno's coming into this situation. Like Geno's getting a weapon. I don't think Geno's probably, I mean, DK, he had DK, and then obviously Lockett, he had a really good chemistry with Lockett, but a guy like Brock Bowers is a weapon for sure.
And JSN last year.
Was a monster. He has some weapons over there. And I think if the Raiders do it right, they should give him some weapons. Obviously, if you're going to trade for him, and reportedly, you know, it hasn't happened yet, they're going to give him like some type of extension. They're going to pay the guys. So if you're going to pay him, you got to put some players around him. So it makes sense to, hey man, if T-Mac's there, then you got to get him. Or another guy that I want to hear your thoughts on is a Matthew Golden.
Yeah. But real quick on a Brock train, because what I want to caution people against is that Brock is going to get better next year. He's going to be a better player next year, but his numbers might come down, especially if we get other weapons on his team. So don't see him not put up the same numbers and say, oh, you know what, don't get into that, because his numbers will likely come down, but he will still be a better player next year than he was this year. It's just that last year he was the only option, so you had to go through him. If the Raiders do the right thing and get more options, well then, targets are going to get spread around. So he's not going to be quite the numbers guy, but he's going to be every bit as good or probably even better.
Well, I'll tell you as a coach what I used to tell my players, and Brock Bowers had to deal with a lot of this, right? And I used to tell my players, like, you can't control the outcomes of everything, but how do you respond to it? Because change is the enemy of progress. I always used to tell my people that. And with the way that Brock Bowers was progressing, he had every excuse to regress throughout the season. And you bring up a point with the offensive coordinator, the different quarterbacks that he had to play with, the abysmal running game all year, the changing of the guard, and your whole offensive line was just changing itself around.
Yep.
And the division that he's in, right? Having to deal with so much change there, playing just good team after good team after good team.
Devontae getting traded.
Change is the enemy of progress, and he totally broke the mold on that, and he responded well. So, yeah, those guys like Brock and Malik Neighbors and just anybody that has to deal with change, and they're the constant in that equation, like, they are on another level of player. And I don't think I can say honestly, everybody just doesn't appreciate how just that fact. We don't appreciate that player in the moment as much as we should have. And if they, or like you said, Severe, I think he's going to have a very, very good year this year. But his numbers are not going to reflect that. And that's okay, because you saw what the thing is you saw what his ceiling can be.
Yeah.
And that his floor is a lot higher than where it probably should be as well.
He'll still put up a G. I think he'll still put up a G. He'll still put up a G. I think.
Oh, yeah. I think he'll put up 1,200 this year.
Yeah, Well, okay, let's talk about it then real quick, because I know we got to get into the breakdown of some of these prospects. But does Chip Kelly come to the Raiders, look at the Raiders rosters? Does he look at Brock Bowers as the number one option on offense?
Oh, yeah.
Is he gonna build an offense? Is he gonna build an offense? Like, and maybe Dante, you can speak to this as well, and Severe, you can chime in. But like, is he gonna build an offense around a Brock Bowers, or is it gonna be fill in the blank running back? You know what I mean? Because Chip Kelly loves to run the football, and he has all these, different ways to get the running back involved and be productive. Like, is Brock Bowers gonna? If he's the focal point, then the production should probably go up, right?
Because he was a focal point last year. That's my point. But last year we had no other. Like, he was the focal point, and there was no other focal point. So it was like give him the right.
Jacoby.
I don't think he's going to get the.
Jacoby Myers had his first 1,000-yard season.
He had his first 1,000-yard season, but I think we're going to have Jacoby plus another guy on the outside, plus a better run game, plus Brock Bowers. So I think that the run game is definitely going to eat in to what he was doing, because we're going to. Chip Kelly wants to run the ball. He is going to run the ball. If you know nothing else about Chip Kelly, he is going to run the ball. And if he can't run the ball, he's going to find ways to do other things with his running backs to simulate the run game. So off top, that's going to happen. But yeah, Brock Bowers is going to be the number one target. I saw Chip Kelly take Jake Bobo from Duke and make him the number one target. Then I saw him take a walk-on guy at wide receiver, convert him to tight end, and Greg Dulcich, make him the number one target, get that guy drafted in the second round. So, like, Brock Bowers is going to be the number one target. It's just the fact that we're going to run the ball. Chip Kelly is dedicated to the run. He's going to run the ball, and he's going to want to get other people involved. And he's he's a guy that he will use people. Like how last year we never used Tyreek McAllister. Chip Kelly will have a one or two plays. He might use it week 4. He might not use it again until week 7. But a guy like Tyreek McAllister is going to get used. I saw him do it with Kashmir Allen, who couldn't catch a cold in Alaska. But he found ways to get Kashmir Allen involved, right? Because that guy was probably one of the fastest players in all of college football. So he's going to find roles for these guys. That's what I'm saying. He's going to spread the ball around a lot. That's when Brock is going to be a better player. But I think the target share is going to come down just by virtue of Chip Kelly wants to get other people involved.
Well, yeah. Go ahead, Dante.
What you're going to see out of Brock Bowers, and I want everybody to write this down. Get a notepad and pen out. I'm telling you the formations that they're going to line Brock Bowers up this year, and they're going to have a ton of success. They're going to line him up at H-back. Right below the right tackle. They're going to run a lot of RPOs to the right side of the field. And then you're also going to see Brock Bowers in a lot of trip sets lined up with the wide receivers. You're going to see this a ton. And then the third thing that you're going to see a lot is one thing that I love that Chip Kelly's never strayed away from is running mesh concepts, which is
Yes.
essentially seeing a wide receiver like Trey Tucker and Brock Bowers run across the field and hitting Brock Bowers right underneath route to create space. It's going to be fun. And if it works out the way he needs it to by getting the right receiver in the building, you're going to see Brock Bowers lined up all kinds of different places. And the most important thing about Brock Bowers is his blocking game. And nobody really knows how good that is yet until you have a scheme like Chip Kelly's going to put him in. So I really think Brock Bowers is the only reason Chip Kelly left Ohio State, to be completely honest with you. I think he knows what to do with a talent like his. And if you had to sell a coach on anything, it's you can do whatever you want with Brock Bowers. And Chip Kelly's like got the Birdman hand rub going on right now. He cannot wait to get in there and start scheming out Brock Bowers for a couple different things. And I think just at this point in time, Michael Mayer just doesn't give you what Brock Bowers wants. And that's why his name gets mentioned a lot in trades is we're going to find another athletic guy. And if you guys end up going in the second round and drafting somebody like Elijah Arroyo, y'all going to cook on offense with Chip Kelly. Man. And I can see that happening.
Yeah. And going back to Chip Kelly, like, let's look back, and we did this before, Severe, where we looked back at what Chip Kelly did with the Eagles. And at the time, they had LaShawn McCoy and Deshaun Jackson and, you know, everybody else that was there. LaShawn McCoy had his best year as a pro under Chip Kelly. Yep. And Deshaun Jackson had his best year as a pro under Chip Kelly. Yep. So hopefully, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to like, hey, maybe Brock Bowers could have his, you know, in his young NFL career, his best year could be under Chip Kelly. Who knows? But I see you guys' point. I'm just like, I just want to create that conversation. But I understand what you guys are saying, especially if the offense gets better, other players contribute. Doesn't mean that Brock Bowers ain't playing well. It just means that there's going to be more players that are going to be involved in offense. So I get exactly what you guys are saying. Man, shout out to Raiders Smoke in the building, man, supporting the show as always, man. With the super chases, what's up, fellas? What are the chances we land Genty, considering Kelly likes to run the rock? Me personally, I'm not a fan of taking a running back in round one. This class is deep with running back. What are your thoughts? We kind of answered it a little bit earlier, but I guess we can just, you know, just summarize or give him a little answer. Give him an answer right there, real quick.
Yeah, I think, you know, like I said, Genty's going to consider you're going to have to run him 80 or 90% of the time on offense, and just because Chip Kelly likes running the ball doesn't mean that he likes just running one of those guys. Like, the reason why LaShawn McCoy didn't like what he liked up there with Philadelphia, even though he had such a productive time with Chip Kelly. But you have to understand that in his type of offense, he needs his running backs to do all kinds of stuff, which is going to consider them coming in and out of the game more often than what they probably would like. And they're going to have to get momentum really, really quick because his offense moves really, really fast. So, I mean, he did it at Oregon. He did it at UCLA. He did it at Ohio State. Like, I mean, me and Severe talked about this. Like, Travion and Quinshawn work well together because they didn't have to be out there 90% of the time doing. And Travion was a beast and run blocking. You know why? Because he was pretty much healthy to come out there and be like, that's what I need you to do on this play. All right, I'm going to go 1,000%. And then Quinshawn's going to come in and run the rock for, 6 yards up the field. Like, it's a running back by committee with him. So you just choosing Genty with this pick. Genty's going to have to understand I'm going to have to sit back and relax. But, I mean, again, we mentioned it before. I wouldn't draft him at 6 for you guys personally. But, I mean, it would be like a Brock Bowers pick to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is not an apples to apples comparison because obviously Genty is way better than this guy was, but it's almost like when UCLA got Carson Steele from I think Ball State. Carson Steele was a guy that I think he had like 300 carries when he was at Ball State, right? And he was like, like I think he was a number one back in the transfer portal that year, if I don't recall correctly. But he was a guy that put up crazy numbers, like, and everybody thought, oh, this guy is going to, like, he gets to a Power 5 or gets to, like, one of these blue blood programs. He was a guy like Chip Kelly, he's going to blow up. But once he put him in a committee with him and TJ Harden, he wasn't the same guy. He was still good,
exactly.
but he just wasn't the same guy in that, because he's not getting all of those carries, not getting all those touches. So his effectiveness kind of waned a little bit. And obviously, Genty is a much better prospect than Carson Steele, but it could be the same situation where Genty is used to being the one and only guy. Well, I guess he kind of had that committee with Halani the last year, but even then, that last year, nobody was talking about him as like, well, I think Dante, you still liked him a lot, but nobody was saying like he was going to be the guy, right? He was just a good back. And now this past year, he got all of the touches, and it was a crazy year. So is he going to want to go take a step backwards and go back to being in the committee? Because that's likely what Chip Kelly is going to do.
Yeah, and just to wrap it up, I mean, Smoke, man, appreciate the super chat. Raiders Smoke, man, I think it's smoke. I don't think the Raiders are going to take, because it's too obvious. All these mocks, and then, Spytek, knowing that everybody's watching him, he's going to be over there talking to the head coach. Why is he? We haven't heard anything. We haven't heard anything about the Raiders. And, Dante, you said earlier, like, this is pretty normal. Teams typically, they talk to these prospects. They take them out to dinner. They do all these stuff. But for some reason,
you got to account for it's one more game too in the NFL, and so you need more than just one running back to run the rock nowadays. Like, you think Nick Chubb of a couple years ago, if he was still young, would last this long? Like, even he's going to have to be a part of a committee. Even if he was, let's say, if he was in this year's draft, it's different now. Like, and it's not just a Chip Kelly thing. He's just more of like, he fits in the NFL now because that's what we're moving to. It's 3 to 4 running backs in the system that are rotating.
Let me ask you this real quick, and then we'll get into the prospects, the film. Do you think it matters when you evaluate a running back prospect how much carries he had the prior season going into the NFL? Like, do you consider, like, man, he's a lot of wear and tear, especially running backs, because they don't necessarily have the longest careers compared to like other positions on a football team. Like Genty, for example, he he had almost like 400 carries, if not 400. It was crazy.
Yeah, I don't consider the workload so much unless they're playing against good team after good team after good team, and I look at the stretch of teams that they are playing, right? Like, Ashton played Oregon right at the beginning of the season, and then it was kind of UNLV was like the best team after that they played, and then they played Penn State at the end, the very last game. So for him to get that many carries, I'm like, it's okay, because his workload was spread out against the good competition that he was playing with decent linebackers. He wasn't getting hit like Trevor Etienne down in Georgia. Trevor Etienne was back to back to back to back to back to back. Dylan Sampson, we saw it in the college football players. Dylan Sampson got hurt in the first 3 carries of the game and was out. You know why? Because it was back to back to back to back to back to back for Tennessee in the SEC. So that's what I consider for somebody like, Ashton Genty, who carried the rock halfway last year because of George Holani. I'm not really all that pressed about it for his standpoint. So I evaluate group of 5 guys like him a little different from everybody else. But yeah, if you're playing in the Big Ten and your schedule says that I played monster after monster after monster after monster, if I'm looking at like a 3 or 4 game stretch of them doing that, I'm like, damn, that was a lot of tread on the tires. And if it's towards the end of the season, it's even worse. I feel a little bit more, a little bit worse about that guy being having a lot of tread on the tires at the end of the season. The thing about Travion Henderson, and if I had to give everybody hope on him, this year was a blessing in disguise because Quinshon Judkins was there. And so They had a huge workload this year. I mean, back to back to back to back to back to back. But you know what? He had his brother on the sideline to help him carry the load. You know what I'm saying? The road is much easier to travel when you got somebody helping you carry the load. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
but I like I mean, look at Ashton Genty today at his pro day. The dude looks jacked. He looks in shape.
Yeah.
And it's because he didn't get his body beat up all that much. So, you know, we're not talking about Travis Hunter here. You know what I'm saying? Who forced himself to take 100 snaps a game. We're talking about Ashton Genty, who played a good team every once in a while, did his thing, and then half of those games he came out once they were beating up on teams too. So he didn't play all 4 quarters every single game. That's something to consider as well. Like I think in their Mountain West Championship, he only carried the ball like 18 times or something like that, and he came out. So
you don't look at the amount of carries, you look at the quality of the carries?
Quality of the teams and the quality of carries that they took in those games. So now if I was to see this, like, this would concern me this year about Ashton Genty is to have a game like he had against Penn State, right? Because Penn State, he had a bunch of carries and he barely had 100 yards, but he was getting hit time after. All those guys can hit on Penn State. So if he had those games like 3 games straight, I'd be like, oh damn, yeah, that's. But he's just busting out a big run in games, getting his 21 carries and coming out. Like he's not getting hit a bunch. He's more in the end zone than actually taking a big hit. That's just something to think about right there too. Like he had more touchdowns than taking big hits last year. Pretty good advantage coming into this year's draft.
All right, man. Hey, look, we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about every prospect, especially leading up to the draft. But obviously, we got Dante in the building, man. We can't let him leave the building without breaking down some film, especially people talking trash about T-Mac. So I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen so everybody can see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The moment I've been waiting for.
Yep. So here we go. So what are we're looking at T-Mac, right?
Yeah, you got T-Mac here up on the screen here.
Okay.
As you see with the yellow arrow. I'll put an orange arrow here for people that can't see. You guys colorblind? No, I'm just kidding. So what you're gonna see from him is he's gonna take different coverages. Man-to-man, zone. Obviously, he's lined up a little bit in the inside here, playing at that X receiver position. Again, watch the quality of throws sometimes that he's getting from Noah Fafita. Linebackers bearing down. And this is just a crazy route where he made this guy miss. Now, a lot of people say he doesn't get separation, right?
Ooh, broke him.
I would say he got pretty open there for a touchdown, right? So for the non-believers out there, let's rewind the tape here. So watch him take the outside release, completely cut it upfield for a touchdown. That should have never happened with that guy being so far off from him in the coverage that he had. So rewind it here for everybody on the opposite side. Now this is against Arizona State, who was their rival and actually a good team. These were no pushovers. So that's the first clip. Second clip here. Got T-Mac right here at the bottom of the screen in another man-to-man matchup. I believe this was Travis Hunter. No, that wasn't Travis Hunter. He's up on the top of the screen, but there's another route. This is a crazy route, just trying to get open, right? He's always moving. Right there. Got separation. Make a guy miss, get the first down. And a lot of people will look at this like, oh, he initially didn't get it. But one thing that I try to evaluate on film is, did you give up on your route just in the middle of all the chaos that's happening? Or did you try to make something happen? Like Noah Fafita's running around, finds this guy, gets the catch, and he's still trying to make a move to get upfield. One thing I like about T-Mac is he utilized the sideline as his friend, and I like that about a lot of players, right? And I always used to coach this too. The sideline is your friend, because if this guy was to punch the ball out, where's the ball likely going? Out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
So you save your team there. And this is a quick turnaround on this pass that he had to make something happen. That guy could have been bearing down on him right here. Made a guy miss, comes inside. That's the third clip. Oh, sorry, the second clip. Third clip I got right here is just a one-on-one matchup with him. And this is, I believe this is Travis Hunter on this play.
Ooh.
That's not Travis Hunter, actually. It might be. I can't really tell. See? And I was saying, like, the quality of throw.
Look at that throw. Oh, my God.
I mean, gets upfield. Stutter steps, gets out. And he's, again, the effort, right? Even the ball was high. He could have just not jumped. A lot of this little shit like this matters to me. He tried to jump for it, even though he know it wasn't in his vicinity.
That's like crazy. That's crazy. That's a crazy throw. That's a crazy throw, man.
Yeah.
And this against UCLA. Again, they have no pushover corners either.
Yeah, Jalen Davis is
just
good,
a little combo route right there.
Yeah.
Like making guys miss.
Yeah.
And falls forward. It's nothing too special, right? It's just
people
enough.
People want to talk about his speed, but he's moving. He's moving faster than everybody else around him.
Yeah.
I want y'all to pay attention to my man's down here.
He's on the ground calling for help.
Yeah.
Yep. And that, you know, number 20 tries to come up and still tackle him, and he's having a difficult time. So, you know, these are just some of the things that I watch on film constantly, and I'm just like, what are people talking about? And again, on X, if you guys want to follow me over there, I never ask for follows or anything, but just for educational purposes, I have like 9 pages of every single catch that I could find, even some misses from the wide receiver, that you can see him outrunning, out-dueling, running up the field, making guys miss constantly. I mean, it's like 9 pages of 4 clips each. So all this stuff that people keep saying he can't get separation, he's not fast, he's not agile, he leaves a lot on the table from what Steve Smith said. I don't see it. He's definitely the best prospect in this class. And I mean, you saw that throw, Severe. My man, what was he supposed to do?
Exactly.
That was a for sure first down from any NFL quarterback. They would love it.
If it's a good throw, it's a first. And with his ability with the ball in his hand, which is something that, people like them to make the Mike Evans comp. That's something Mike Evans didn't have. He didn't have that after the catch stuff. Like, that's something that Teteroa definitely has. You put the ball in Teteroa's hands, he's gonna make something happen with it after the catch. So, that's one way he separates you. No, that's why he's a unicorn, like you said. Like, it's very hard to comp him.
I've seen a lot of plays where he got separation. If he don't get separation, he's making contested catches. I mean, he was number 1 in contested catches. I mean, he still caught the ball. Why is that such an issue? A lot of people like to hold that as a grudge, but like, I'll tell you like this: as a former quarterback, let's say Severe was my favorite wide receiver, and I knew he could catch anything, and I know Severe is going to go 110% on every single catch. If he goes up and snags a ball for 40 yards. Y'all think everybody in the crowd's going to be like, man, that dude sucks. He didn't get separation. Stop. We're giving excuses for things that don't exist in the NFL outside of effort, right? Coaches care about effort. Not every receiver is made the same. But on the contrary, is everybody wants to talk about these jump balls. And if he jump balls so much after these 4 clips of 4 separate games, we would have saw that even more. And I don't consider that high throw a jump ball. He would have won that in the pocket and carried it upfield. You know what I'm saying? So,
no, what I think it is, I think some of it is JJ Arcega-Whiteside. And I know a lot of people thought he was going to be, the next big thing in the NFL. I think the Eagles ended up taking him over. Was that the DK Metcalf year? I think did they take JJ Arcega-Whiteside that year?
He went in the second, right? I think he went in the second round.
JJ Arcega-Whiteside, did he go second or went? I thought he went in the first round. I thought he went late first.
I think he went in the first round.
He went in the first round?
I thought he went first. I thought he went first round. I could be wrong on that though, but I believe he went over DK Metcalf. I believe that was the guy they took over Metcalf. Or was that Jalen Reagor? But anyway, they missed out on a really good receiver in the second round that year. that they could have had, and if had they not taken JG Arcega-Whiteside. And that was a lot of his was, he can't really separate, but he's getting all these 50-50 catches. And so I think people are trying to kind of,
second round, 2019.
Second round?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think people are trying to kind of force that onto Teteroa because they see him do it so well when he has the opportunity, but they're trying to chalk it up to that's all he has. But that's not all he has. He's just elite at that as well.
Yeah. Well, hey, a guy that everybody wanted this offseason, obviously the Bengals went ahead and franchised him and signed him to a big long-term contract, is a jump ball guy, or is considered a jump ball guy in T. Higgins. So, and that's a guy that every team wanted, especially Raider fans. They wanted him to be the starting number one guy on the Raiders and yada yada yada. So if a guy like T-Mac can be that, then why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to show you. I'm just going through the clips. He doesn't catch this ball on this route, but just watch how nasty this is at the bottom of the screen. I mean, what do we expect him to do? And he's still running, trying to get open. Look at him across the field, and he catches it. Well, do we not want a wide receiver that gives effort?
Yes, every play.
I mean, any team would kill for this. He could have just stopped his route right here.
Right there.
I'm telling you what. Marvin Harrison Jr. would have stopped right here. And I saw it on film 1,000 times. I said, this dude is lazy as shit. Such a great talent, but he's lazy. Look at Ted. I got to help my guy out. I'm in the middle of the field, soft spot in the zone. I'm going. Noah found me, first down.
Yeah.
Was that a jump ball? I just showed you 5 plays that weren't jump balls.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I think when I checked his route tree the other day, a lot of his catches, I think it was 43% of his catches came from inside curls that he took, for 10 to 15 yards. Those aren't jump balls.
Mm-hmm.
No.
So you can rely on them in the short game too. I just don't. Again, we see a lot of this online, guys. A lot of yapping, and instead of you come here with my guys up here, and we're showing exactly plays that you don't see online. This is the little stuff that he does well.
Real quick, Jolie's asking who's a good comp to Teteroa.
Again, I see the Drake London comparisons, and I would agree with that somewhat because of the way. And I'll say this outside of what people will say, the way that Teteroa uses his size versus everybody else, kind of like Drake London did, is great, and that's what I would give him a comparison to. There's really no comparison to Teteroa McMillan, man. He's different. I mean, if I had a comparison, let's say old school. He reminds me of Keenan McCardell with his route running.
Keenan McCardell. Well, you're a Jags fan, so that's right up your alley. I say that's a blast from the past, but
I was actually thinking Buccaneers when I said that.
True.
Yeah.
He did play. He played
I see
for
a little
Bucks.
bit of. Yeah, and Keenan McCardell was like this.
He played for the Jags. Keenan played for the Jags.
Yeah, remember him and Jimmy Smith were one of the best duos at one point.
Yeah, him and Jimmy. Man, Jimmy Smith. Whoo, that's a bad man that does not get enough credit. That does not get enough credit at all.
It's a lot of
praise God, sir. Praise God.
It's a few Jag players that don't get a lot of credit, like guys like Fred Taylor. You know what I mean? They don't. Yeah, Fred Taylor's a monster.
Donovan Darius.
Oh yeah, Donovan. Yeah, man. I'll forever hold a grudge against Donovan Darius.
Hardy Nickerson. Remember him at linebacker?
Oh, Hardy Nickerson. Yes. Yeah, I remember Donovan Darius came to us.
Those are the days.
We got a true Jags fan in the building, man.
Yeah.
Mark Brunell is the reason why I started playing quarterback, because I was left-handed growing up. And
oh wow, okay.
I became predominantly right-handed as I became a teenager, but he was one of the first left-handed quarterbacks I seen play, and that was when I chose my team when I was younger. is watching him play. So
Yeah,
actually, that's the reason why I became a Jags fan, is because of Mark Brunell. I'm forever indebted to him for getting me involved in football so much, man. So I hope he becomes an OC one day. But that's just a little shout out to Mark Brunell. I think he deserves to be an OC. You know.
So real quick, man, I'm gonna throw this name out here, and let me know what you think about this. People in the chat are talking about Jaden Higgins. They say they much rather get Jaden Higgins, probably like later in the draft, probably in the second, or as early as the second. Are you high on Jaden Higgins? What's your view or thoughts on Jaden?
I'm not high on Jaden Higgins whatsoever, and I've yet to find anything on film that I actually like that he does outside of what somebody like his teammate and Jalen Noel does. I love Jalen Noel. I think he's such a beast. Yeah. I'll put it like this. Jalen Noel is a beginning of a 3rd round pick in this draft, and that's no slight against him. It's just because this class is so deep. Jaden Higgins is like a 5th to 6th round pick to me. I don't see what people are seeing. And if he was so good, why weren't we talking about, and I'll tell you, as a college guy, we were talking about Jalen Noel all year. Jaden Higgins on the other side, nobody was talking about Jaden Higgins until he went to the Senior Bowl. And I was there. I was watching the catches that he made. And I was like, here we go. People are going to start overblowing how good Jaden Higgins is. And he's really just okay. Just like the Mike Green thing. And we could talk about that a little later too.
The edge rusher.
But yeah, what happened with him was totally overblown. And I know you guys saw the clip online, but Jaden Higgins was the same way. It's just he had a really good week at the Senior Bowl. Granted,
is that the one that got Connerly? Is that the one that got Connerly? They were going crazy about when he was playing right.
Yeah, he doesn't play right tackle. Mike Green blew his ass up, and it was like, y'all understand that's a left tackle playing right tackle, right? But okay. But yeah, I don't see what Jaden Higgins does better than any of the, better than Pedro McMillan. But Jalen Noel is definitely a better receiver. I mean, by far. I think it's night and day.
Jalen Noel got juice too. That's another thing. If you want speed,
where do you see Higgins going? Jaden Higgins going in the draft? In your eyes, like I don't
know.
Yeah.
It's hard to gauge because
he does have the height, weight, speed thing going for him.
Yeah, but he's slower on film than what people give him credit for. I mean, that's definitely one of those narratives. You go back and you say, oh, your 40 time doesn't really match up with your film. And he's one of those guys like, okay. I mean, he got open in the slot because Jalen Noel took 2 people with him. So I would expect him to get open. But I will say this. Rocco Becht, who's their quarterback, is amazing. And I think he's going to have a really good year this year, regardless of who his receiver is. And I think Rocco Becht made him seem better than he actually was. And of course, you got to catch the ball and make things happen. But the placement of some of those passes from Rocco Becht, you could say were some of the best in the country at the time. And I'm not just saying that to say that to hype him up. Like, he was hit or miss, but when Rocco Becht was on, the placement was chef's kiss all year long, which makes it easier on a receiver to go out there and make plays. And I think Jaden Higgins got a lot of that too. He got some of Rocco Becht's best passes. I don't see it with Jaden. I really don't. He doesn't run as fast. He doesn't run clean routes. He has a very good short game, but I think Jalen Noel does everything on the field way better than him. I don't see, I don't see it out of him that would separate, would make those two guys so close and going in the same round is what other people are projecting him. Like, he's not better than his teammate Jalen Noel. He's a step below that. But like I said, so I think it's hard for me to say where he'll go and where he'll land because my brain is not like what a team would do. It's more so where I rank these players. Mm-hmm. But with all the hype that happens and a lot of teams draft off of hype, he'll probably go in like the end of the 3rd round or something like that. And then, he'll be a number 3 on the team, just get buried in a depth chart somewhere. I think that's where he is.
Speaking of hype, though, that is a very key word you just said. There is a receiver that is getting a whole lot of hype right now. And it is one Kyle Williams from Wazoo. What are your thoughts on him? I don't even think I'm trying to remember your top 10. I don't believe he was in your top 10. I don't believe.
Yeah, my
LeJohntay Wester over him. So
I love LeJohntay. I think he was the best.
Yeah, LeJohntay over
Colorado.
Jimmy Horn Jr. too. I say you had him over Jimmy Horn too, right? Yeah.
My top 10 was Tedero McMillan, Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, Emeka Ibuka. My number 5 was Tez Johnson. 6 was Xavier Restrepo. Jalen Noel was number 7. LeJohntay was 8. Ty Felton from Maryland was 9. And Rock Taylor from Memphis was 10. Again, this is my version 1. It's subject to change. I will say this about Kyle Williams is I've seen a little bit of his film, not enough to make a good assumption on how good he can be. And I know that clip's going around where he burnt Travis Hunter, and then when you get something like that, you're going to get all the hype, of course. But he's been highly requested for us to do a film study on, so I guess he'll be our next one. But I want to put it like this: one of the best transfer quarterbacks just went to Oklahoma, and he played at Washington State with Kyle Williams. So you have to temper your expectations that way too. Like, you had a really good quarterback up there after Cam Ward had left, and he was throwing really good deep balls the whole year. So that's what I think about Kyle Williams. Like,
not to cut you off, but so you take that away from, well, I don't say you take that away, but like you kind of consider that when you're like evaluating like a wide receiver, that he has good quarterback play.
You have to. I mean, it's if he's feeding you the ball the whole time, you have to consider that to being how good are you actually, right? I think we see that on a lot of NFL teams when somebody's the only weapon. Is it because the receiver was actually good, or was he the only one that they were, that the quarterback was getting the ball to the whole time because that's who he felt comfortable with? And I think it was kind of the opposite of what happened with him. He was the only viable receiver, and my guy was just getting John Mateer was just getting the ball to him the whole time, because Washington State sucked and they couldn't run the ball all that often. And John Mateer found him and had really good passes downfield, and we saw the highlights of him throwing them open. I think he's really fast. I think he has a good set of hands, but I don't see anything that separates, like, right now I think LeJohntay Wester could be in the top 5 of receivers. That's a hot take, but I think LeJohntay Wester is that freaking good that he could rise up my list and be in the top 5. He's just a great receiver. Same thing with Tez Johnson. Like, a lot of people hold his height and weight against him, but he's a dog and he'll catch anything thrown his way. The top 3 are the top 3 for a reason. I think Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, Tedero McMillan are definitely the top 3. And the one thing that you look at Emeka Ibuka is about, like, that he just plays a slot primarily. But I think the quarterback play at Washington State this year was really good. Obviously, the kids at John Mateer is at Oklahoma right now, but I think he was just force feeding Kyle Williams this year. But I'll watch more. Like, I don't want to sit up here and give a false narrative about Kyle Williams. If people like him, I just got to do more homework on him first before, I say where he's at. But from what I've seen so far, I'm like, I guess he's okay. I wouldn't say he's top 10 right now.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, cool. 'Cause I know he's getting a lot of hype right now. So real quick. I know I know you talking earlier. You don't really worry as much about the measurables, So the 40 times from Tez Johnson and Xavier Restrepo, they don't give you any pause, right? Like you're not worried about those 40 times at all.
No, not at all. Especially for Xavier Restrepo, man. I loved his play every single year that he was at Miami, and I really think him having a healthy year this year propelled Cam Ward up the boards, and he doesn't get enough credit for that. Like he was one of the best in like open space, catching something in the zone and making things happen. Like he's that damn good. And like I said to you guys before the show, I don't care about measurables, and he's one of those guys, right? Tez Johnson, I don't care about measurables. He's just one of those guys. Jalen Noel, I don't care about measurables. He's one of those guys. Like, but you got to plug them in the right system, and you got to keep those guys as healthy as possible. But I think Xavier Restrepo, regardless of what his 40 time is, somebody's gonna choose that dude in the third round, and everybody's gonna be like, "What the hell are we doing?" And I'm gonna be like, "He's about to cook." Like it just is what it is. Like he's that good of a damn player.
Okay.
So man, hey, look, man, you seen it. Dante came, saw, and conquered, man. He lets you know, man. Like he showed the people exactly what he was saying. Tedder is more than just being a jump ball receiver. You know, he showed different routes that he got open on, from comeback routes, even like shorter routes where you could see where he can get some yak, like after the catch. So, hey man, I'm a believer. Even down the field, like what was it, a double move on the sideline? I think that's one of the first one that you showed. Is this another one right here?
Yeah. So this is him just taking a short ball upfield.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
I mean,
I think he forced the third most missed tackles.
Yep.
Hey man.
Oh, this is the play that I want you guys to see. This was on Travis Hunter. So you know how everybody loves Travis Hunter.
Is this that ball on the sideline where it's a bad ball and he makes a crazy catch?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even consider this a jump ball. Like he's just going up and snagging it. He's just that lengthy. So what are we talking about with jump balls?
And it wasn't that great of a ball either.
No, that's what I'm saying. That this is one thing, you know, like I was telling you guys backstage, when I watch film, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like, what's the quality of ball? And I always used to teach my quarterbacks, put that ball on the sideline, because you have it inside with that guy close on him, he can knock it out, and then it's an incomplete pass versus a completion that, you know, Tedero McMillan could have just. It's easy to, not easy, but it's better to lean out of bounds and catch the ball than it is to go up and grab it and, you know, try to grab it and some guy knock it out of your hands. Yeah. It's less risk of that turning into an ugly play. But I mean, there's your boy Travis Hunter that almost picked it off, but again, Tedero McMillan saw through the traffic and made a good catch. So I mean, again, that's 7 plays I've showed you. No jump balls, some short game, some long game, him making people miss, him having a high motor, trying to get open throughout the field. He doesn't give up throughout the play. Like, I don't know what there's not to like about him. Yeah, man. So that narrative needs to really go down the toilet.
So there's 2 guys I wanted to ask you about, you know, before you get out of here. Well, yeah, 2 guys. Okay, first guy is Mimbu. That's another guy that's been getting a lot of hype. Now, I personally, I have him behind Connerly, and I have him behind Simmons. And I think people see 40 times and they see stuff like that, and offensive tackle, and see people see 40 times and they all of a sudden get all impressed. What I saw on the field from Simmons and from Connerly, that impressed me more than what I saw on the field from Mimbu. Now, I'm not sure how you feel about Mimbu. Like, is that a guy you're high on as well? Because there are people telling me we need to draft him at 6, and I'm like, yeah, bro, I'd rather trade back and draft Josh Simmons than draft Mimbu at 6.
You're spot on in your evaluation. I have 5 guys ahead of Armin Membu on my draft board, and I don't rank them by offensive linemen, by guards, centers, and tackles. I rank them on
Just pure offensive
these
linemen.
guys move. Yeah, because they move around so much, right? Like some guy might like Gray Zabel at guard, but then he could be a true right tackle in the league, and then we're all just like, okay, well, a lot of these guys will play all over the field before they figure out exactly where they get plugged in from high school to college too. So, but I have Calvin Banks number 1, Will Campbell number 2, Gray Zabel number 3, Josh Connolly number 4, Simmons at number 5, and Armin Membu at number 6. And I was really thinking about putting Tyler Booker ahead of him. Like,
yeah. Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I like his athleticism. I think Membu's as long as he plays right tackle, I'm okay with that. Like, but that's where he needs to stick and play. I think he's a one-dimensional offensive lineman, and he just needs to stick there. The thing about him that I used to hate watching on film, and I'm a big Nate Noel fan, and I'm a big Marcus Carroll fan. Like, those 2 running backs transferring over to Mizzou, I thought they were going to have excellent years. For whatever reason, when Nate Noel and Marcus Carroll got to run on the right side of the field, outside of him, it was a disaster. He would just let guys through. And I'm like, I can't put a guy that primarily plays right tackle that high on my list. Amazing pass blocker, terrible run blocker when the runs are to his side of the field and he knows it. It's like he knows, like, oh, the run's coming my way, I'm gonna just let this edge rusher through to get this tackle. Like, Donovan Ezaraku had a fucking field day against him.
That's crazy.
But that's your number 1 edge, though, right? Is that your number 1 edge? No. Is that your number 1?
I love.
No, that's your number 1 edge. I know you had him above Abdul. That's not your number 1 edge, though, right?
I love Donovan Ezaraku. No, James Pierce is my number 1.
James Pierce. Yeah, James Pierce.
And then Abdul Carter. Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of guys, all right, because I know this is the other guy I want to ask you about. Because I don't know, because in school he played linebacker. I think he's being projected as an edge because he didn't play many snaps because for me he was hard to evaluate, but a lot of people love him as Jalen Walker. Like, do you think he's an edge? Is it linebacker? I know he technically played linebacker, but he kind of did like a whole lot of like rushing as like a middle linebacker. So it was like he was playing linebacker, but he wasn't really playing linebacker because they kind of let him do his own. Like, it's like almost like they let him do his own thing. Like, hey, bro, if you can get to the quarterback, you just get to the quarterback. So kind of where are your thoughts on him, and what do you project?
Yeah, Tinsdale and Quay Walker and Kobe Dean kind of did the same thing when they were at Georgia too. Like, and I just think that's just the Kirby Smart way of running his defense and making them valuable in the draft, and that's why they go so highly, because they have the skill set to do both. And then, you know, Michael Williams is the same way. So a lot of people are like, is he a true edge? Is he a 3 technique, or is he a linebacker? Like,
he played a lot of he played 4-eye a lot, right?
He played 4-eye too. Yeah,
kind of like what you call it. What's up with the guy that you guys drafted? Like, it seemed like they used them very similar to him.
Trayvon Walker. Yeah. I personally think, and he's my number 2 at this position, I think he's a true linebacker. I think he's incredible at linebacker. Okay. Could you line him up in some packages that are edge? Of course. Who wouldn't want to go all out blitz sometimes when you know that you can? And that's a great skill set to have when you need it. I just think I honestly would love him to play like middle linebacker in like a 3-4 defense. I would love to see that. I just want to see him fly around the field.
Inside,
I think
linebacker?
he has that skill set to do it. Yeah, I would love him to play inside, because imagine this, man. And I just imagine him on your team, right? Let's put it on your team. If you guys ran a 3-4, you have, you know, Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby, and then you have Jalen Walker, like rushing up the middle on that same side, sandwiched between those two. there's nothing that anybody would be able to do to stop that, like constantly over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So I think he would fit really well in there. But then also, I think Jalen Walker's good at covering tight ends as well. Like, there's nothing that kid can't do. I think he's number 2 for a reason. I just value why I have Jay Higgins from Iowa so high up my board, and I feel like he's the number 1 linebacker. Because I think Jay Higgins is just
one.
Yeah, he's not an edge rusher, but he's like a true middle linebacker that can do like the Ray Lewis type stuff, like drop back in coverage, get an interception. Actually, more like a Brian Urlacher, I would say. Drop back in coverage, get you an interception, but then also sideline to sideline like crazy and can just wrap up the tackler. But he's not gonna like knock your helmet off or anything. But I value that more. And I think that's more valuable in a draft with a team that really needs a linebacker versus somebody like Jalen Walker, who they're probably going to stuff him in at edge. And then that's where he's probably going to die in his career if they do that, instead of seeing like we could put him in an outside linebacker or middle linebacker and let him rock out and put him in some blitz packages. So, but I love him on film. I think he's tenacious, can stop the run really, really well in the backfield, and quarterbacks are a little uneasy when he's lining up on opposite of Michael Williams for sure. So, I mean, go watch the 2 Texas games. Both of them together are they're monsters.
Yeah. So how is he in terms of shedding blocks? I know one of the concerns is he has like arms or like shorter arms. I think like 31, 32-inch arms. How is his block shedding either at edge or at linebacker?
Jalen is one of those guys that I kind of compare to like an Edgerrin Cooper. And I don't want to put him in the same tier as Edgerrin Cooper, because I can tell you what,
you loved Edgerrin Cooper. You loved Edgerrin Cooper.
I love Edgerrin Cooper. His film was. I used to love watching Edgerrin Cooper's film because I was like, that dude's the best linebacker in his class. He was number 2 on my big board. It was Brock Bowers and him, and I was sure about both of them.
The Cardinals. The Cardinals drafted
the Packers.
No.
The Packers. Yeah. Oh, okay.
And he ended up being like defensive rookie of the week like 3 times last year. When he was out there playing a good amount of the snaps. So I think the Packers, they got a great linebacker on their hands. But he's kind of like Edgerrin Cooper in the way that he's very smart. You're either going to have a linebacker that engages the offensive line and wants to break off of them and make a play, or they're going to watch and kind of stay off of them and then hone in and make a tackle. I don't want to say that he can't shed blocks, but that's more it's almost like saying I'm giving him an excuse of that he can't do it. He can. I've seen it happen, but that's more of his play style. Severe is like, I'm going to just watch the offensive line, see what they're doing, not engage, and then I'm going to use my speed to get there and make a play, which is great. He's not causing a lot of destruction for himself. And he knows what his skill set is. I love cerebral guys like that obviously can do it if he's engaged, but more so, let's make a big play. And I got the speed to get there and not have this guy get some extra yards on me. So I think that's very valuable at his position.
Yeah, man. Hey, look. Like I said, Dante came here. He saw. He conquered. He proved his point about T-Mac. The guy is good, man. If he's there at 6, hey, the Raiders could possibly there's a real good chance he could take him. That being said, you got some time, man? Let's do a mock, man.
Let's rock it.
Let's go ahead and do a mock real quick, man. And since we got a Jags fan in the building, go ahead and set this up here. We're gonna have you pick number 5 as well. See what the Jags pick. And let's see, should we make it 3 rounds just to consider maybe possible trade ups, or
3 rounds is fine. Yeah, 3. I'm good with 3. Good with 3.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and should we make it? Should we adjust the speed here, because I know it's gonna go super fast, just in case if anybody was considering like trading up. Let's go. Let's probably make it like. Let's put it right there. All right. Titans on the clock. Go ahead and start the draft. All right. I just paused it. Cam Ward gets drafted. Browns pick Shador.
Yeah, Dante wasn't moving up for no Cam Ward. You ain't got to worry about that, dog.
Well, hey, look. Oh yeah, that's right. He's not a big Cam Ward guy. Okay.
I think,
but I know he's
Cam
not
Ward,
big on Lawrence too, right? He's not big on Lawrence. Travis Lawrence.
No, he's not big on Lawrence. Do you have Cam Ward 8 or 9? I think. I remember it was low. I remember it was 8 or 9.
Let me check on my list.
I don't remember where.
Cam Ward was 9 on my list.
9. Okay, so it was right in front of Cal McCoy, right? Was that who was just 10? Cal McCoy?
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so Patriots on the clock. Abdul Carter. So it's crazy. Look, we got Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter. The Jags are on the clock, man. Who you picking, Dante?
Going Mason
I will
Graham.
cry happy tears if this happens. Nah, Tedero McMillan.
Going to the road. Oh, even with Brian Thomas Jr. Oh my God. Okay, wow.
Ooh.
Well, he
of them
did say he's
together.
generational. He did say he's generational.
Yeah.
So you don't pass on the guy you think is generational.
We got we got rid of a lot of our heavy baggage at receiver, and they believe in Brian Thomas Jr. And they got rid of Evan Ingram too.
Ingram. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it just makes sense for us at this position to go ahead and get him. And I'm telling you, this will be the second rookie jersey that I buy, and it's going to be for my own team. And I don't have a lot of Jaguars jerseys. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I'm buying a T-Mac jersey as soon as it's on NFLshop.com. I could tell you that much.
Let me ask you,
it makes too much sense.
How do you feel about Brian Thomas Jr. then?
I was not the highest on Brian Thomas Jr., and this was one of my misses last year because I like Malik Neighbors, but Kyron Lacy on film was just like, why is people not talking about him? And I know he got himself into some trouble, which we're not.
Exactly.
You know.
He's a dog. Yeah, he's a dog. Yeah.
Kyron Lacy was absolutely incredible, man. And that's the reason why I wasn't as high on Brian Thomas Jr. He tested really well, of course, at his pro day and stuff, but I didn't see it on film like everybody thought. I thought he was a little slow on his routes compared to what he ran. I thought he took a lot of underneath routes. I just didn't think his route tree was as expansive. Got to the Jaguars and totally shut me up. I had a zipper on my mouth the whole season. So, I mean, sometimes you have misses, and that he was definitely one of my misses, but I'm glad that he turned out to be everything we thought he was going to be, though, because I literally and here's the other thing I'll say, to be fair to Brian Thomas, if we didn't need a receiver, I would have been totally fine with it. But the fact that we had, Christian on the team with Evan Ingram, with Zay Jones, with we just had wide receiver after wide receiver after wide receiver after wide receiver. And I just felt like they were scapegoating Trevor Lawrence to be something that he wasn't. So that's why I thought it was a bad pick at the time. But I'm kind of like the Brock Bowers thing for you guys. I'm like, wrong pick at the wrong time.
Right.
Yeah.
But we got a player that we need for the future. So now let's build on to that. And Tedero McMillan just makes sense to pair up with him.
T-Mac and Brian Thomas, that's going to be a crazy receiver core. But here we go, man. Jags pick T-Mac at number 5. Raiders on the clock. Are we going Mason Graham? Are we going with someone else on the board? I know. Dante, you're big on James Pierce.
I like James Pierce, the player. I think it's phenomenal. James Pierce, the person, leaves a little bit to be desired. So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, personally, I have no problem going Mason Graham here or trade back. I would trade back and take Luther Burden or Matthew Golden. But okay. Mason Graham there, I have no problem with that at all.
Well, let's look at who's possibly trading up with us. So we got San Francisco, and they're picking number 11. They're looking to trade up. Another team is the Chiefs, the Titans, and the Patriots. So the best, probably the 49ers. So if we're trading with the 49ers, they got pick 11, they got pick 43.
Do 1143 for 6.
Hey man, let's just take this. Let's empty their pockets.
Hey.
Let's empty their pockets real quick. You know.
How you gotta hit 6?
Are we good with that? Should we?
I think we're good with that.
We'll throw in Michael Mayer. You know what I mean? Because their tight end likes to get injured every now and then, so they probably need a backup tight end. Let's see. I'm just having fun with it, man. Let's see. Michael Mayer. Oh yeah, that PFF gives you a percentage if it's going to be accepted or not. So just add a fit. No, it's not going to work. Yeah, it's not going to work. So let's off from this.
Michael Mayer, actually would agree with this move. I think this is a great move to trade back. There's just nothing here that's right now. You can still get good value, but why not get some picks to continue that?
Right. Well, Jake Long, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Jake Long saying Mason Graham. I'm not mad at that.
So right now on the board. So I hypothetically, if the scenario, I was hoping the scenario would play out, but it didn't play out. As if we had Genty, Mason, and Tetaroa on the board. Who would you pick? Obviously, it's Tetaroa for the Jaguars. No, would that be your pick as well for the Raiders? It's Tetaroa. If all three were on the board, Tetaroa, Mason, and Genty.
I think so. Yeah, to me, it's the safest pick for you guys as well, and it's for a different, not for a different reason. It's for almost the same exact reason. Like Jacoby Myers and him and Brock Bowers would be great together, and it's one excuse that you guys don't have to give to your offense of why they can't be productive, right? So I think it's something that James Gladstone said in my NFL scouting stuff last year was like, when he went with Sean McVay, the things that they tried to do was shorten the gap in the draft on what they don't need anymore. So when they got Puka Nacua, they understood that like Cooper Kupp has injury issues, but we need to go grab another receiver. And if he works out, he works out. But it makes our level of error like this much smaller for that, and we give Matt another weapon that he can rely on. So, I think that's how a lot of teams need to think. I mean, the Rams have been successful, right? So why not follow the formula?
And that's one thing I would say, if you want to look at a team that has necessary, we always worry about getting a speed guy. Look at the Rams, both their outside guys, neither Kupp or Nacua are really speed guys. No, they got Tutu Atwell, but he plays, he's not the greatest receiver. But that's really their speed guys, Tutu Atwell. You got Nacua and Kupp. Neither one of those guys are burners. So you can make it work with two guys that just know how to play the game and know how to get open.
Yeah, but then Sean McVay is just an evil scientist. Like he makes it work. You know what I mean? He got some route runners that can block because he's gonna find ways to come up with a scheme to make it work. But yeah, man. So number 6 pick, Michael Mayer for the 11th pick, second round, and 3rd round pick for the 49ers. I'm off the trade. And it's accepted. Great. So we just traded with the 49ers. Who they pick? Let's see. Who the 49ers pick?
You got to resume?
Oh, my bad. Oh,
Genty.
Ashton Genty. Ooh.
Makes sense. Oh, well, I guess.
Oh, Golden goes to the. I was thinking about Golden. And
that is crazy that the Bears chose Matthew Golden, but
that's crazy. Right at the pick. Yeah, that was going to be the pick.
Man, I was thinking about Golden at number 11 too.
So
all right, it's still some players left though. We got some players.
We're gonna do the Tom Telesco special and take Tyler Warren. Let's do it. We just look. Telesco would be like, look, we just traded Michael Mayer. We need another one.
Bro, you know how crazy that would be to have him and Tyler Warren or Brock and Tyler on the same team?
That would be crazy. That's your tight end. Is that your tight end one, or do you like Loveland better?
He's my tight end number 1. I can't. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like what?
Because he can.
Would I choose him? Absolutely, he could do everything.
Yeah.
I just
No, I'm
think
just saying
like
he could
my
do
per-
the. Yeah.
Yeah, and my personal favorite is Harold Fannin. I think, he's my personal favorite. But if we're ranking players, he's definitely number one. I don't think there's anybody that would bat an eye at that for sure. I mean, he proved it, right? I think his hands are questionable from time to time, but he's definitely the best tight end in the class.
Okay, so now we're at pick number 11. Then there's 8 teams that are willing to trade with the Raiders. Whew. Let's just take a look here. Okay, Miami Dolphins pick 13. No to the Broncos. Yeah, this all no. So pick 13, drop 2 spots. I mean, when it rains, it pours. So I mean, hey, it could. So we got Tyler Warren, we got Malaki Starks, Jihad Campbell, Membu. We just got done talking about how like we don't like him.
Yeah, we're not high on. So I mean, I would
Will
go.
Johnson. Will Johnson here? You know what I mean?
I would go. So I know
James first.
I know Dante's not high on Malachi Starks, if I recall. Yeah, I know for sure you're not high on Jihad Campbell. You just tweeted about you think Jihad Campbell is super. I know you're not a fan.
I think Jihad
Campbell
is. I don't believe so. No, I like Malachi Starks though. I think Malachi Starks was actually he was my number 4 on my list.
Number 4. Okay, so you like him, but you don't like.
Yeah, Jihad Campbell's not in my top 10.
Top 10. So who do you have over? I'm trying to think. Malachi Starks. So you probably have got
Malachi Moore is my number 1.
You got you got Xavier Watts.
Xavier Watts is number 3, and Nick and Man is number 2.
Okay, Nick and Okay, so you got him 4. Okay. So I mean that's not crazy. Right. I mean, Luther Burden. We want a guy with some juice at receiver. I think Luther Burden has some juice. I think coming into the year, he was a lot of people's number wide receiver 1.
Mm-hmm. So the Dolphins, they're calling, and it's like literally a couple spots down. We can go a lot of different directions at pick number 11. Is it worth trading down again?
I would say. Yeah, I mean it is. They're not gonna give up a second round pick for 2 slots. So I don't think. I would try a third.
I mean, let's see. Hold on. Let's try to take them for everything they got before they. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, they're not gonna accept it.
Yeah, see, they're not gonna give up a second round pick for 2 slots. Try a third maybe.
Oh, yeah. Okay. They're not gonna. 13%.
Yeah, they ain't messing. Yeah, they're not messing with this.
I'm gonna offer it. All they're gonna do is gonna say no, so I'm gonna offer it.
Somebody says Shiloh at 6.
Shiloh at 6. Yeah, I wouldn't take Shiloh in the 6th round. Yeah, just give it that third. Just take that third and
you know what? So why don't I trade? Trade San Francisco's 3rd for. Okay, we in there. We got a second round pick instead of an extra 3rd.
All right, cool. Let's do it.
Boom, accept it. Who they pick? Let's see.
They take Luther Burden.
Will Johnson. Oh, damn. Okay.
Fine. Let's go Luther Burden here. If you want a receiver, go Luther Burden. I'm not high on. I mean, we already heard he said he's not high on Mike Green either. James Pierce. If you want to go corner, we can go. We can go Siobhan Reveal. Or is Jade Barron still there? Where do you go already?
Jade
I love Jade Barron and
he
Makumba, bro.
He
Both
went to
of
the
them
Jets.
are gonna be nice.
He went to the Jets.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I like Siobhan. I like Siobhan. He's long, athletic. Pause. He's athletic. Got some,
He's the best corner in this draft to me, man.
First of all,
okay. Or we can go Luther Burden here. What do you have, Luther Burden? Is Luther Burden? No, you say he's wide receiver too, right? Luther Burden, wide receiver.
Yeah,
too?
he's my two for right now. Yeah. I think Luther Burden is the move for y'all right here. I think he's too much value. And if he falls to somebody else like the Steelers, then you're gonna be kicking yourselves in the
head. Torque is saying go Pierce until all these good QBs good luck.
No, man, Pierce might be out of the league. Pierce could either be an All-Pro or he could be out of the league in 3 years.
Malcolm Kuntz was signed to a 1-year deal. He's coming off an ACL injury. Our third pass rusher technically is a former 7th round pick who hasn't lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
So, do we add a James Pierce? We kind of play chess and not pay a guy that's gonna, probably get a whole lot of money if he has a productive year in Kuntz. It's a possibility.
I guess the question is, are you okay with your starting defensive ends this year being Malcolm Kuntz and Max Crosby, or are you okay with your starting wide receivers being Trey Tucker and Jacoby Myers? I think the answer is pretty obvious.
All right, here we go, man. Luther Burden, man. You rest your case. All right, cool, man. Mambu goes 16. Let's see. Josh Simmons goes.
Oh yeah, that Mike Green stuff it's crazy, bro.
Crazy.
Omari Hampton goes to the Vikings. Damn, that'd be crazy.
Probably still get Trevion.
I'd rather take
James Pierce goes to the Chiefs.
Traffic. Oh, he went to the Chiefs. Oh my lord.
Yeah, that'd be wild. Damn,
crazy.
That would be crazy.
Nickel Man went to the Eagles. Holy shit.
So the Jags are on the clock. The Jags are on the clock, man. Who are you taking, Dante, with the 36th pick? Let me know if you want to look at different positions, who's available. We can do everything.
Yeah, let's look at tight ends. Let's see what we got there.
All right, tight end.
Actually, go running back.
Your boy Elijah. Elijah is there. You said running back. Let's go running back.
Yep.
He wants. You know who he wants.
His choice is everything he wants is.
I go Dante's choice or what the Jaguars will do.
You trying to go with the Jaguars?
Let's. I want to hear both. I want to hear both.
I mean, I'd go Dylan Sampson for sure. I think the Jaguars are gonna. If Travion Henderson's there, they're gonna go to Travion.
So you think they're gonna go running back in a second?
Yeah.
So even with like Etienne there, you think they still go trade? I mean,
I don't think with this new staff that Etienne is going to be good with what we're going to do. I think they're believers of Tank Bixby instead. So I
like Tank Bixby. Okay.
Yeah. And I think about like Tank Bixby being Quinshon Judkins, like being that wrecking ball, and then Travion doing everything else that Etienne couldn't have done. So I think Travion's the better choice here. But I don't see how we pass up on a running back at this point in time. Like I think that's what they're gonna do, regardless of what they want to say about defensive line. Like I think that's just a smokescreen.
Like Travion Henderson. You see, I was trying to nudge him away from Travion. So I was trying to talk him off of it. Travion for the Jags, man. I think that's a heck of a pick, man. I think that's a great pick for you.
And it's crazy we're picking right after that.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to get off. I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, go to our pick. Go DT. Let's see DT. Looks like we got a DT. If Tyleek is there, I'm Tyleek, but Tyleek.
So someone said, I gotta look this up, but someone said in the chat that Tyleek got hurt at his pro day.
It depends on what kind of injury it is.
Did he?
But I haven't looked it up personally, so I can't verify it. But someone in the chat
yeah, he did.
Damn, what did he get? What did he hurt?
I'm reading about it right now. I'll let you guys know in a second.
He got hurt during this 40-yard down. Probably a hamstring, knowing it's a big dude like that.
How you feel about that dude? Is like 460 something pounds. From
damn. Oh, you talking about
defensive tackle?
Okay. Hey, so they said it was a cramp. It was a cramp. Tyleek Williams.
He said it's nothing serious. It was a little cramp.
Oh, that's funny.
And then she said it was a cramp. Hopefully he could be lying, trying to protect his draft stock, but I'm going Tyleek Williams.
Oh, Torque said he tore something running the 40? Damn, it says a cramp. But maybe Tyleek doesn't want the news to come out.
He said it was a cramp on Twitter. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, he said he was able to walk off the field under his own power. So if he tore something, they ain't.
Well, if it's not serious,
I'm taking Tyleek.
Taking Tyleek. Let's
talk about the Desmond Watson from Florida, right? The DT, the 465-pound.
Yeah, that sounds like
running the slowest 40 time ever.
Hey, Quinshon Judkins available right now. You can. Let's see.
I'd rather take a running back later than take.
Okay, well, I mean, we got another pick at number 43.
Yeah,
but Trayvon Harrison just got drafted, so there might be. You never know. There might be a run at running back. The Bears picked a running back.
I'd be okay with. I'd be
Bears
okay.
Might pick a running back here.
Okay,
too.
I'd be okay with Damian Martinez or Dylan Sampson. If we don't get Quinshon Judkins, I'll be okay with either one of those guys. I don't at DT. I don't think we have a nose. I don't think there's going to be a nose that's going to be as good as a guy that can play nose tackle and then offers you some juice as a pass rusher too, and that moves like a 3 technique at like 340 pounds. Yeah. I think they do. I think he has special talent, and he's not only that, but he's violent as all get out. Like he's a dude that has that kind of talent, and he's mean as hell.
But do we look at linebacker too? Just because of we literally lost 2 starters.
Schlesinger's probably gone already, right?
Schlesinger, let's see. Let me go to linebacker real quick.
I like Kaiser. He's still there,
but he's not rated highly too. He's not rated
Yeah. I mean,
and we got multiple second round picks too. So
yeah. Okay, then let's go Tyleek, and we can come around and get Schlesinger. Go Tyleek, we can come around and get Schlesinger. If we don't get Schlesinger, I like Kaiser. Probably wouldn't take him in a second, but I like Kaiser from Notre Dame. I
agree with you.
I like Kaiser from Notre Dame. What do you feel about Barrett from Clemson?
I don't like Barrett at all.
Barrett.
A lot of people are high on him, but I've seen him miss tackles against Florida State, and we've sucked the last couple of years. So that totally turned me off from him.
What about Stutzman? Danny
I love Danny Stutzman, but I think he's like a 4th round linebacker. I think he's going to take a little bit to develop, and then what you'll see is he'll become a Pro Bowler in year 3, and people are going to be like, "Oh, damn, Danny's actually good." He has great fundamentals though, so I was impressed by his film. I mean, Schlesinger is definitely up there for me. I need to do more homework on Demetrius Knight as well.
Okay.
But
I know a lot of people like Demetrius Knight. What about Chris Paul Jr.?
I do more homework on Chris Paul too. I studied a lot of the Ole Miss offense and not the defense. So
shout out Black.
Because I want to get into Trey Amos as well.
I think it might be a little too early for offensive guard, man. He's saying go get an offensive guard, Donovan Jackson.
Willie Lampkin's 5'8".
Donovan Jackson did I think he got taken. But yeah, man. Let's. I agree, man. Let's go Tyleek Williams, man. Let's do it. Caleb Johnson. I knew it was a running back.
I'm not that fan of. I'm not a big fan.
Jackson.
I already told you what. Donovan Jackson I think he went to Ohio State too. But I'm not that. I was kind of documented. I really don't like. I really don't like Caleb Williams. So Caleb Johnson rather. So I'm good. If you want to go running back here, we can. Can go.
Thank you for agreeing. No.
We can go Schlesinger. We can go
Who you vote?
Schlesinger or we can go running back.
How you feel about
If I'm picking
Demetrius
linebacker,
Knight, Dante?
he said he has to do more homework on him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm taking Schlesinger. If I'm taking Schlesinger over Knight, be honest with you.
Okay. Let's go look at running back real quick.
But like I mean Judkins or Sampson, or I mean Cam too. I mean, hey, really. I mean, but yeah, it's a really pick your poison. I don't mind. I don't mind going Judkins.
I think Cam or Dylan would really fit Chip Kelly's offense. I think Cam for sure would fit your offense.
Yeah, I think he does too.
That dude, he runs, catches, passes the ball, punts, like. If you look at his stat sheet, it's ridiculous how much stuff he can do.
You think if we can go Cam here and then come back in the third, maybe grab Sampson?
Probably, yeah.
But that'd be luxury right there. But dream scenario, get like double up on some. Nice
we can go Cam. We can go Cam here, and we might be able to get.
So
did Bashal go already?
Why are we forgetting about Judkins here? What do you have against Judkins? Why are you not considering him at this pick?
I don't mind it. I don't mind going Judkins either. I originally said Sampson or Judkins, but Dante was saying that he thinks Cam is a good fit.
Get a better scheme fit. Yeah.
AJ says Judkins though. AJ says Cam is the new white beast mode.
I think they're about the same size too. I want to say. If you look at their measurables, I think they're about the same measurables.
Reportedly, he ran a 4.5. You know what I mean? Take that for what
Damian Martinez. Damian Martinez is the next Marshawn Lynch. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Out of Miami.
Like the physicality.
Bro. I love Damian Martinez. He just runs and reminds me of, like, if there was a comp of comps in this draft, I would just put Marshawn Lynch. I can't unsee it.
All right, let's go. I mean, I'm fine with Scatterbo. I'm fine either any of those top 3 running backs. I'm good with.
No, I'm just trying to think. Like, damn. All right, let's go Cam. Let's go Cam.
All right, we can. I mean,
second, we gotta take a corner. We gotta look defense here. Corner, linebacker.
Did we go line? Oh, we didn't go linebacker already, right?
Ooh, but it's your guy right here, right?
Siobhan Reveal is a dog.
Yes, sir.
We can go Siobhan Reveal.
Is he more so an outside or inside corner? No, nickel corner.
He can play anything. He lines up at both about the same. He's just the best. He's the best corner that I've seen since probably like Sauce Gardner. And he reminds me a lot of Sauce of what he can do, but Sauce not going to play inside too much. So, but the one thing that he can do over Sauce is tackle really, really well and be a force in the running game. So if you value that, he's definitely your guy. He'll give up a pass here and there, but not for very long. He's not going to make the same mistake twice.
So for the Jaden Higgins guy, he's still on the board. But I know Dante's like throwing up right now. But Xavier Watts, safety. I know we lost Morrig in free agency. We're kind of, we got Paulo Miles starting at safety for the first time going into the offseason. But is Pete Carroll gonna pass out on drafting a top safety on the board? Which obviously he built that secondary in Seattle, and one of his first few picks. The first picks was like Earl Thomas, I believe, was one of the first guys that he drafted.
Well, what's your deficiency? Like, if you had to say this is a trait that my safeties need, what would you say that is?
Coverage.
Okay, then Xavier Watts should be your pick here.
Also, like a ball hawk, like a playmaker.
Xavier Watts.
Xavier Watts. All right. So,
yeah. If that's what you're looking for,
we just picked up Jeremy Chin. So,
that's right. Yeah, no, then totally skip out on Xavier Watts and go Siobhan Revelle. In my opinion, I forgot about Jeremy Chin. He's You guys don't need Xavier Watts. It would be overkill.
So we got because I think that Revelle is your CB1, right?
Yeah, he's my cornerback one.
Yeah, and I've seen people having him go in the first round. So,
Jack Jones on his last year of his deal. We just lost Nate Hobbs at nickel corner.
Yeah,
maybe Revel plays nickel his first year, and they move him to the outside after letting Jack Jones walk possibly.
Yeah, who knows, then we got Jacorian, Siobhan, and Jack Jones. I think there's three pretty good sides. They're all like 5'11", 5'11", I want to say at corner. So you got some pretty nice sized corners out there. We know Pete likes taller corners. Siobhan can for sure run. Jacorian can for sure run. Jack is a speedy guy too. So you got 3 guys that can run too. So
everybody's all for Watts right here, man. They want Watts. So they don't care about Jeremy Chin or Palomao on the roster. Like it is.
I'm okay. I'm more. No, go ahead.
This could be a Brock Bowers situation.
Yeah, I'll never understand why the Panthers passed on extending Jeremy Chin and Frankie Louvu. Yeah. It just blows my mind that they went for the lesser of those two this past offseason instead of retaining them. That was absolutely asinine.
Yeah, you guys.
I will say that we got him on a deal too.
They threw a bunch of money at J.C. Horn too, and at Trevon Merrick.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, the fact that you got Jeremy Chin on such a deal too.
Yeah, kind of low key, kind of similar production to Morig. Morig probably had one of his probably best year of his career, but like if you look at like numbers wise, like production wise, kind of similar type style of a player too, like as far as being versatile. Let's see. So we going Siobhan?
I'm good with that.
Oh, we did pick up Eric Stokes, but I mean that's not really saying anything, to be honest with you. And we do have Demetrius Richardson, but is that gonna stop you from taking a corner early if you feel like?
Yeah, it's a new regime. I mean, like I'm good with Xavier Watts too, because I mean, you think about our backup safeties, Chris Smith. Let's go Xavier Watts.
Best player available.
Let's go Xavier Watts.
Damn, but this one is just this is tough.
Go Xavier Watts. I forgot DCam. DCam is a developmental guy. I don't think he's as good as Revelle, but
you got a way out here too.
Chin's on a 1 year deal.
Stevan is coming off of injury.
Yeah.
All right, hey chat. Let me know right now, Siobhan or Xavier, right now. Steve says Revel.
All right, let's go Revelle. Steve's been on it, man. Steve be watching film.
Riot says Revel. All right, man.
Like the Rebels won it. Let's do it.
Rebels won it. And we do got another pick too, by the way.
The Revel Alliance.
Actually, that's that last week. Oh, never mind. Oh, we got 68. Let's see.
Torque said it's a 1-1 on board.
Oh, Dylan Sampson got drafted. Damn,
Dylan Sampson got drafted.
I was hoping. Shit, it's all good. Can't have them all. All right.
Who do we got so far?
So we have Tyleek Williams. We have obviously we just drafted Revel, and then in the first we drafted Luther Burden.
Tyleek Williams. So I thought we had so Luther Burden, Tyleek Williams, Siobhan Revel. Okay, so probably go running back right here.
Oh yeah, and we drafted Cam Scatterbo. I forgot.
Oh, we got Cam. Okay, we got Cam. Okay,
yep.
Cool. We can wait till later on the running back. We can wait till 5th round pick up. We might be able to pick up. We can get Danny Stutzman in the 4th. We can pick up at linebacker. We can pick up Damian Martinez might be late third, early fourth. We can get LeQuint late.
Let's see. It's not offline.
Tate Ratledge still there?
He's still over there, but if you want to go off like the rankings, you probably could wait. Let's see who's best. Let's see best player available. RJ Harvey, if you want to double up. That's kind of been our thing. Our message like, hey man, we got to double up on running back. But is it too early to double up? We went in the second with Cam.
It's too early. What's the best player available? Demetrius Knight. We haven't picked a linebacker yet, right?
We haven't. And your boy Schlesinger got picked in the second.
Let's go.
He went to the Seahawks.
I got no problem going Demetrius Knight. I mean, Stutzman, he said the Stutzman's the fourth. We can go Demetrius Knight here. We can probably get in true real scenario, linebacker here, go running back in the fourth.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do it, man. Demetrius Knight. And we got the Jags on the clock. Pick number 70.
Yeah, go safety.
Let's see the safety.
Oh.
Looking ugly, huh?
Oh my God.
That's what happens when you take Trevon Henderson from the Raiders.
Stuck with some weak safeties.
Yeah. Well, you got some trade down opportunities. Going back to safety.
Is Billy Bowman there? What's the guy's name?
Andrew
Billy
Makuba.
Batson.
I love Lathan Ransom, though, but
Makuba, I mean.
Yeah, Andrew Makuba is who I'm picking.
I like Makuba. Makuba's solid.
All right, here we go. Oh, Jackson Dart. Oh, I just thought about it. Quarterback.
We can get Tyler Shook. I mean, in real life, Tyler Shook probably gonna be a second round, but on here we probably get Tyler Shook.
Bro, I've been hearing some rumors about the Browns might take him.
Oh, that's the guy that you were telling me earlier, Savion Williams. That's what you were telling me about.
Oh yeah, that guy, man. That guy has feet for hands. That guy.
Yeah.
That guy is.
Yeah, I don't know why people like Savion Williams. It's because of his size and his speed.
He's big and he's fast, but he has questions catching the ball. So you can if you're lucky and he turns it around, you have a big fast weapon. But if not, you have Quentin Johnson.
Yeah.
So pick 88. Jags picking. They're picking. They're on the clock.
I just don't think we need. Yeah, I don't think we need a defensive lineman yet, man. We drafted 3 last year. We have Eric Armstrong. I don't know why I keep saying that defensive.
Hey, Eric Armstrong. Yeah.
And
you just paid Josh Allen, right? What did you say? Josh Allen Hines now? Josh Allen Hines.
Yeah, Josh Allen Hines.
Josh Allen Hines, Trevon Walker, and you got Eric Armstead. Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah, what's tight end looking like here for us now?
Oh, you got.
Oh my God! Yeah, Harold Fannin Jr. all day. How the hell did he fall this far?
It's PFF, huh? It's PFF. Yeah, PFF goes by their own ranking system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their own PFF grades.
David Walker going to the Eagles?
They gave Travion an F. That's crazy. That's crazy work. Yeah, see Makuba. See, that's why this PFF stuff is crazy.
Hold on. How about the Raiders, man? How about our mock, man? What's up? Like they just
on the left side. On the left side.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay. A minus.
Oh, y'all
PFF.
cooked.
Hey man,
this
Luther
PFF.
Burden. Yeah, it is PFF at the end of the day, so the grades don't really matter. But we did address a big need right now as wide receiver. We need a run stuffer. We did pick up a D tackle, a run stopping D tackle the other day. Yeah, leaky football too, but
I'm not letting him stop me from taking Tyler Williams.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. It's not gonna stop because he easily not make it out of camp. Then you got Cam running back, Siobhan Revel at corner.
They were like, we picked up Rasheem Oster. Let's not draft her. Like, nah, bro.
I'll be honest with you. We kind of addressed like a lot of our needs. Corner, linebacker, back.
Only thing we didn't get is a guard, and the way things were trending, it looks like Tate Rattlers was staying on the board. There's some guards that's going to be available. What do you think about the guy from LSU? Dang, what's his name?
Will Campbell?
No, not Will Campbell. He's going high. It's another guy. I think he moved all over the line at LSU. I think he played some guard and played some tackle.
You're talking about
Is it Dillinger? Dillinger?
No.
Miles Frazier?
Miles Frazier's one of them.
Maybe it was one of Miles Frazier. I know they had a guy that played ball. I mean, LSU line they've been coached pretty well for the most part.
I don't know if Torque is Emory Jones. That's who you're talking about.
Emory Jones. Yeah. What do you think about Emory Jones?
That's what
I don't like him as much. Miles. Yeah. Miles is the other one. Didn't he play center though, primarily? Or was it guard? I can't remember. I still got to do my homework on the LSU offensive lineman, but the only one that I think is good from LSU so far, from what I've seen on film, is Will Campbell. Yeah. And I was even skeptical of Will Campbell until Torque put me onto a couple of games. So I know Miles Frazier's one, Garrett Dillinger.
Yeah, I think it was Dillinger. So you don't really think Dillinger is good either? You said the only one you thought was good was Will.
Yeah. Yeah, Emory Jones was getting roughed up.
He's solid. Emory Jones?
Yeah, Emory Jones people really liked him early in the draft or early in the year. Like he was like rated super high. Like he might have been tight like tackle 2 or something like that. Like or something like something crazy.
Yeah, the two that I really remember are Emory Jones and Will Campbell.
Yeah, I remember people loved Emory Jones early in the process before the season.
Yeah,
but real quick, man, what did you think of your mock draft? How you feel about the picks, man? If this is really how it turned out for you in the first 3 rounds for the Jags,
I would be ecstatic about this, man. Like, and I've been losing my mind over the last 3 years. If you guys have seen any of our draft lives, like I went from putting shaving cream on my face to pouring water on my head to like absolutely freaking the fuck out for 3 years. Like our audience they just laugh their ass off because I'd like lose my mind, bro. But if they did this, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I wouldn't know what to do with myself if we did this. I'd feel like that the pieces are fitting right in the puzzle like they're supposed to. So
yeah, I agree. L11, I totally agree.
Okay,
Jags going to the playoffs with that draft. I think it puts us in the right direction for sure.
If Trevor, it's it all depends on Trevor. All depends on Trevor. Who do you guys have at corner?
They got more explosive for sure on offense.
We got Tyson Campbell.
Tyson Campbell. Okay, Tyson Campbell.
Yeah, Tyson Campbell's been good.
Yeah.
And you guys got what you call it, right? Y'all got Richie Grant. Y'all got Richie Grant. Or is that somebody else? Richie Grant?
I think we let Richie Grant go in the middle of the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey man, Dante, it's been real. Appreciate you coming on, breaking down some film, kind of dispelling a lot of this stuff about T-Mac, about him not being able to create separation and not being able to get open and just being a jump ball guy, breaking down that film and also being a part of the mock draft too as well, man. So, man, appreciate you coming through and having a conversation with us. Dante, can you let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff?
Yeah, man. So, one of my guys, Khalid, just got done doing the Texas A&M Pro Day today. So, got a couple interviews in with that. I'm gonna be putting together. He took some video, so we'll be putting together like some slow-mo cinematic clips from the Pro Day, so you can kind of see some action from that. I think the next thing that we're doing, we're going to try to get to a couple more Pro Days. If not, then I'm heading out to the Elite 11 to watch the young quarterbacks do their thing here at the end of May up at Penn State in Happy Valley. So that should be fun. But other than that, man, this is really what we've been looking forward to outside of the actual football season is, we have somebody on our side that says draft season is ECG season. So I should put that on the shirt, man.
Nah, hey, man, that'd be perfect. That'd be a dope shirt too. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Somebody also said that we were like the IPA of content creators or something like that. May not be for everybody, but
right,
you have your choice.
Right.
But yeah, other than that, man, we're just gonna keep digging into the film, getting everybody educated. We know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really want to be that source of truth for everybody where we're not saying this for hot takes. Like the film is really what it is at the end of the day. And, I've been putting together a couple seminars for some people. I know, Severe, you weren't able to make the last one, but we'll get you scheduled on one of these to kind of pick my brain on, how the scouting process actually works, how to watch film from a coach's perspective. Somebody went through the process. Yeah, man. So right there in the community tab on our YouTube, you can sign up for it. There's a Google form for it. And, we had about 9 people in the last time. So it was a, pretty great experience for everybody that was involved. But yeah, man, I'm super excited about, this draft in particular, because there's just so much, there's so much to look forward to in this draft, and I think teams are really going to improve this offseason for sure because of the draft. There's a lot of can't miss picks here. Outside of a lot of people think these 2 quarterbacks in Shador and Cam are the only and Abdul Carter, but just like you guys know, like running backs and the wide receivers and the corners and the edge rushers, like there's so much value here. So if your team doesn't improve after this draft, I mean, it's unfortunately you might need to fire your GM and find somebody else that will, find talent for you. So,
hey, man.
But yeah, man, appreciate you guys always bringing me back and talking through this stuff, man. So
it's sure, man.
Thanks, man. Nah, we want to have you back again, man. Our offseason ain't over. I know there's a whole bunch of prospects to break down. A lot of things going to happen between now and the draft, as far as like you're allowed to change your mind. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be the beginning of the offseason, you probably had you had an idea of what the top players were, but I'm sure during the process of breaking down film, I'm sure you might change your mind on certain players. Has that happened as you get approached the draft?
Yeah, Shador Sanders was one of them. I mean, I definitely had him outside of the top 10, and then I went back and I watched a little bit more, and there is a lot to like about what he does. And again, will that translate to the NFL? I'm not sure, but I end up liking more of what I want. When I was able just to sit down on my own and really get away from everything, was able to see a little bit more on what he was doing. And what I came away thinking was like, Pat Shurmur's not really that good of an offensive game planner for anybody, and that's why he's been out of the NFL for so long at this point in time too. So, but when you look at stuff like that, it really brings you in a different light. I know it's just like V Beasla in the chat. I know he's not a big fan of mine, but I mean, you can't hate on people that like to put in the work, bro. I mean, it just is what it is. So, this is why I love doing what I do. I will admit where I'm wrong, but at the end of the day, I'm going through the process, probably harder than a lot of other content creators out here right now. And I appreciate you guys, being that open book that I can always come to, and you guys ask the tough questions and try to educate yourselves as well. So, but thanks for trusting me, first of all, and getting you guys the right information. So that's always appreciated, and that's what we all should be doing, right? As content creators, is not keeping the knowledge to ourselves, but spreading it and having open dialogues about everything. So,
100%, man. Hey, you see the link in the chat. Definitely check him out on YouTube, and also eastcoastgridiron.net as well. Check him out over there, all over social media, East Coast Gridiron. So he's not going to be hard to find. Like I said, appreciate you coming through. Severe, let the people know where they can find you, what to look forward to, all that good stuff.
You guys know what it is, man. The Severe Raider here on YouTube, on IG, on Snapchat, on TikTok, on X, just about everywhere on social media. It's the Severe Raider. You already know what it is, man. Tuesday nights, the world famous 50-50 show with my guy PharoahNFL. You guys are tuned in to Around the Shield right now, where every week we try to bring you a different guest, a little bit different perspective. And also going on Sunday nights, my dog Chris from Protect the Shield and 805 Raider. It's Real Talk Raider Nation, as well as Tuesday afternoon with those guys. If you guys haven't already, make sure y'all hit those like buttons. You clack out. And make sure you hit those subs as well as hit those notification bells. Do the same for my brother Pharaoh. And if you haven't done so, my guy Steve put the link in the chat for East Coast Gridiron. Make sure you guys head over there and sub to his channel. With some good film studies up there. All 22, where they actually go through the film. Walk you through the plays, walk you through what he's seeing. And he has a real good series, man. Sliders. Some really cool, man, where it's like a Madden type rating system, man. So it kind of gives you an idea of what he's looking at when he's grading these players, man. So really educational, really informative. If you guys want to educate you guys yourselves as well on some of these prospects, I highly suggest you go over there and check it out.
Yeah, no doubt,
and
man.
To add on to that,
go ahead.
To that, Severe, not to talk about my channel, because I hate doing that. I hate asking people to sub or whatever, but the one thing that separates us on this film studies, and you can go to any channel on YouTube, a lot of them pick and choose the plays that they want you to see. Not saying that they don't do the work themselves, but what separates us is we watch the full game from top to bottom. So we can't, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it the right way. And I feel like watching the full game and painting the full picture and the full story is how you do it the right way. So, sometimes it takes us an hour and a half. Sometimes it takes us 3 hours to get through a film study, but it's important to get everybody the right information and know, to see the good and the bad. Cause it's, when you listen to the media, they will tell you it's a popularity contest. And I literally look at the season as everybody starts out in the same position and it's a race from there. You really got to impress me. So, that's one thing that I always like to say is, like, just be aware. I ain't one of those channels that's just gonna pick out a couple of plays. We're gonna watch the full game together, baby.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, man. Hey, make sure to clock in at this point, clock out, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. We'll be back here next week on the 50-50 show, obviously Around the Shield every week. We'll have a different guest. Hopefully we'll get Dante back again to break down some stuff for us, man. It was a pleasure having him on. Appreciate everybody coming through and supporting the show. But we'll be back here soon, man. Just tune in. Also, give us a follow on Around the Shield all over social media, including Twitter and Instagram, to get the latest news on Raiders and all that good stuff. So give us a follow there.
Buy the merch.
Yeah, hey, and the merch, and the link is in the chat, as well as if you're watching the replay, it will be in the description as well. So we appreciate the support. We'll be back here soon, man. Peace.
Peace.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.